And we back. Welcome back to the 2B Fair Show. I am your host, Johnny P.
Oh, hey,
Real.
It's Q.
And we back. Hey, shout out my boy Real. He unfortunately a little bit under the weather this week. So we sending blessings out.
No
to
Hurricane Helen.
Man, I grounded him, bro.
You grounded him? Is that what it was?
Bro, my stepson ain't been acting right, bro. I had to ground him, bro.
He been acting up. Oh man.
I figured that's what it was. Because he told us on Friday he was sick. I was like, man, you could get healed by Sunday.
Nah, bro,
but it was a grounding. Okay.
Shut up.
He can't go outside.
Me and his mom had to ground him, bro. He hard hit.
Real can't go outside for the weekend.
You gotta listen, man. You gotta listen.
Now that used to be a horrible time back in the day. When like you couldn't go outside on the weekend, and then it's like that's always the day that the sun is out, your friends out, they playing all the games that you want to play. The football right in front of you.
Before we get into it,
go ahead, Johnny.
I just want to tell them, please tap in with us on all socials at the 2B Fair Show. That's on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and Threads. Tap into the chat. Please get active. Hit the notification button. Please hit like. Yeah, and to tell them about how you was on punishment back in the day. Bro.
Oh no, I'm just saying that whether it was I'm gonna just stick specifically to punishment first. Where all the fun shit always happened when you was on punishment. Like the girl that never used to come outside in their neighborhood, you just see her walking by, looking out there like, hey, what's she doing out here?
Real life.
Like the homies come up, they pull up with the bikes. Hey kid, we about to go play basketball and football at the field. Nah, like everything be happening. I remember it was one time like they didn't like the whole neighborhood planned to go to the movies and I done missed it because I'm in trouble. I'm like, God damn.
My parents was kind of cruel with it because I had the neighborhood. I had the best goal in the neighborhood. I had the best court. So they let people come play on my court. And I'm in there doing homework and just hearing. I'm like, bro, I'll be looking out.
You hearing fun outside, laughter and joy.
I'm angry. I'm like, ooh, I can't wait till I get back out there. So, told him. But yeah, let's hop into the. But I guess we can't do rock paper scissors.
Yeah, you can.
Yeah, no, we can. But before we get there, I was gonna say the other thing would have been like when you miss school. For me, it always seemed like all the most fire shit would happen the day I missed school as well. Like them days that you just couldn't do the thing that you normally do, it always seemed like the most amazing things. I missed, maybe it was high school or middle school or elementary, and that happened to be the day that Gus the Bus came and they had an assembly. And they had bro,
y'all just had Eminem Day. They used to aggravate me in elementary school. I know y'all remember Eminem Day. Where you had the different colors of M&Ms and you was learning math and then you got the
yeah.
I remember I missed class one time and the teacher titty had popped out.
Oh wow!
It's like what?
Dude.
I was like, I ain't never skipping again.
Yeah. All right, Johnny, come on, let's get to it. Got him. Ain't nothing when it's just me and you. That's
I'll
easy
let you
work.
get that one.
That's easy work. All right, you can go first, Johnny.
All right, yeah. Let me if you could scroll down. Yeah, right there, the bottom right corner, Tone. Bottom right. Learn to say things well. I think this is a good one.
I could say how I can just get it off my chest.
Right. It doesn't work like that.
God says, no, it's not about getting it off your chest. It's about speaking it in a way where it can be received in their chest. And in Ephesians, Paul talks about if you can't say it in a way that they can receive it, then don't say it.
Yes.
So unless you've harnessed a level of kindness and compassion and empathy to say hard things well, you may need to withhold saying hard things.
I love that, hard things well.
And I didn't have that philosophy. It's like, I just need to get it off my chest. If I think it, I can say it, and then you work it. Let the chips fall where they may.
Yes.
And God says that's not how it works.
Yes.
That's not. We don't get to let the chips fall where they may. Because what happens is the tone will do more damage than the truth that you were trying to articulate and communicate.
That's beautiful.
And you end up leaving relational carnage in your life, not because you didn't deal in truth with them, but because you didn't deal with compassion and empathy with them. As long as I have.
No, and that kind of like, because a few weeks ago, Dr. Bryant conversation. That's what it reminded me of. And I was, if there was a better explaining of my point, or just about compassion, and just with like just a lot of things, because it's something
she didn't come off in a bad tone to him.
Well, just me personally, I'm talking about even in like my life. I'm saying that's what inspired it. But even in my life, sometimes I just gotta say it. I just gotta say it type of person. And yeah, sometimes it don't always work out.
My boy gonna put that cape on for Cam. That's my quarterback. tell him, Johnny. But yeah, I that reminds me of like the earlier seasons when we would speak about communication and what communication good communication actually looks and sounds like, where a lot of times we get caught up in this concept of communicating is just saying what is on my mind or saying what I believe is true. But there's a big piece of communication that also lies in being able to say what is digestible to the person. Sometimes just being right doesn't necessarily it depends on like if you have a ends to the means of what you're doing. And if you're trying to properly get something like a behavior to change, I think it's always good to consider not just being able to say the thing to a person, because an asshole can just say something and it be true, but it damage all relationships. But being able to properly articulate it inside a way that the person can actually digest it and y'all can move forward from it. Because again, saying something that is a hard truth is a hard truth for a reason. I mean, that they're likely going to get upset. They're going to feel some kind of way. If you have a way to, whether you want to soften the blow first, or whether you want, like, however you want to do it, I'm a firm believer of being able to make it digestible to where the person hears what you're saying and y'all can kind of build from the conversation, not just saying it to get shit off. And I guess I'd also say inside previous relationships, as I was growing and learning how to properly communicate, there was like a time where I had moments of just getting it off. And it's like I said it, you know what I mean? I expressed an emotion. But the reality is that that's not the best way either of going about the proper communicating of it, because then you get resentment. Then you get like all these different little things that come up with improper communication of a true thing. Yeah.
Yeah, I would say like don't let proper communication try to like put you in a place where you're overthinking communicating and then you don't communicate. Because I've seen that side of things where it's like you're thinking so much about how you want to communicate the thing that you overthink it. You still don't get your purpose across. And then with some people, no matter how you say things, it doesn't matter. They just don't want to receive it. Mm-hmm. So I think
that happens too. Some people just not going, you can do it in the best way and still go bad too. So don't get discouraged by that either.
Yeah, nah, some people are crazy. Mm-hmm. And some people lack understanding also. And yeah, to Tone's point, I would say that I've been inside scenarios where I started feeling like, am I fucking tripping? like your recap of events, your recap of what I said sounds so much differently. It's like, wait, I know that I actually said this and did this and that. And you gotta be careful with those ones, because those are like the in my Kendrick voice, master manipulators. That's what those are, the master manipulators.
Now, if you walk away from a motherfucker feeling like you crazy, like if you like I know good and goddamn well. I know good and goddamn well.
But sometimes it be like the ones that you deem as smart. You're like, bro.
Sometimes, yeah, and like those manipulate, like it be. Sometimes they very good. Like master manipulator is a master for a reason, because you won't catch it until it's already done. It's done, and then you like, oh shit,
yeah,
I didn't got.
Or you get caught inside like a little bit of the wormhole of like the first or second time you're like, maybe I'm tripping. But like once the tally start adding up, it's like, all right,
it's too late. Like you like,
but now, yes, you're right. Like they didn't adjust it to this way of like,
it's a scary world out there. But
oh dang, I was about to say one more thing too. I had one more thought. Like, have you ever listened to somebody who you didn't necessarily like the way they said it, but what they said worked out?
Yeah, like that happens all the time.
I think it's very like I think that's important to do too. Be able to listen to stuff even when you don't like. I take it like if somebody tells me something, I don't think they're just telling me something for no reason most of the time. So I take it very serious. Like if somebody tells me something, even if I don't agree with the idea, I will look into what they're saying.
Now I think there's yes, but like even if somebody has good intentions and they say it bad, and it hurt my feeling, but eventually it's true, and I eat it, and I'm like, damn, all right. If we still cool and we still homies, like I feel like there's gonna have to be another conversation down the line about like, yeah, you was right, or there should be at least some addressing of it as like just being friends and just being like good communicators. But yeah, I'll eat it. I'll carry your L, but sometimes you ain't got to brag, or there's certain ways that you go about it.
I just think it's an important skill set to have to be able to listen to people who you don't necessarily agree with their opinion off gate, or at least look into it.
No, for sure. And if it's an op, it don't matter. Or it's somebody, it don't matter.
I don't necessarily believe in that either. I think that's set out my boy Trey. That's that Trey talk. Like for example,
I ain't saying if it's not true. If it hurts my feelings, it don't matter. If it's an op.
If it hurts my
if I feel a way about somebody, I'm not really cool with saying something. I'm not really gonna go out my way to address it.
I guess. Yeah, you kind of derailed my train of thought inside the op conversation of this. Where were we just at? What was the point that we was landing on?
I was talking about listening to
people that you don't no. And I was saying how a bit of what you had said kind of starts sounding like the Trey talk, set out Trey, FBA Trey,
David Walker.
But like for example, I ain't gonna say I most enjoy, but something I do enjoy is I do listen to a lot of people. I don't agree with a lot of things that they say. Like typically most people that I listen to, there's like very specific things that I agree and very specific things I disagree with. Candace Owens is an example of that, where there's a bunch of things she can say that I could disagree with, and then there's certain parts that I'd be like, oh yeah, I rock with that. It's a bunch of people that I listen to in general that fall inside that exact same thing, where there's certain things that I can listen to Candace Owens and I am diametrically opposed to everything she's saying, but then she could make a point and I'd be like, that's kind of a good point. And I think that so many people lack that ability to differentiate their feelings and them not liking from what a person is actually saying. You see that also inside like the political sphere and all that shit like that. But we'll get into that inside my question. But yeah, Tone, I'll let you land it.
Would you say we've gotten in a better place in society now, like as far as being able to accept differences, like more so than the 90s or something like that?
Being able to accept differences, that we've gotten inside a better space. I haven't. That's kind of a hard one for me to answer.
Yeah, we live.
We live on.
Oh yeah, we live on. But yeah, hey, y'all hit the chat. We got a couple of y'all in here. Talk to us. Do I think that compared to the 90s, right now we're able to accept criticism better?
Or even differences in opinion, like because we kind of had to deal with that in the 90s. Like it was like I feel like there was more varying opinion than there is now. Like now it's like
inside what fear though, and I guess that's why it's hard for me to answer it, is because right now it is so many more, and it's hard for me to be like we deal with it easier now because we got whole cancel culture and shit like that. And the internet ain't nothing but a bunch of people fighting over thoughts and statuses, and that's even what the whole political sphere is. But then there's the concept that right now is the most that this has ever been in front of our face as well. And like during like previous times, like we also could look at say like the 90s and XYZ and say that was a time where everybody was kind of dogmatic, like let's say we all just Democrats and shit like that. To where I don't know if they were accepting of Black Republicans like that, because everybody was actually just Democrat and it was quote unquote on the Democratic plantation.
Yeah, that's a good point.
It's I don't know how much their ideals and beliefs were challenged, I guess I would say.
Yeah, you look back at them elections though, it made sense to be a Democrat back then, bro. Like I was looking back at like George Bush running against Clinton earlier. Yeah.
Well, it was about senior running against.
Yeah. It was kind of obvious Clinton was gonna win that. Like one was actually interacting with the people, the other person wasn't interacting at all. Like he was just stuck up and
But he was the incumbent, right? He already had
he was already president.
Yeah, president.
But I think he was sick though. Like he was oldest. He was kind of like
kind of
like a Biden. Yeah, it's kind of similar to like a Biden Trump, where he was like he was falling out in like meetings with like foreign leaders and shit. He was like making us look bad, kind of like Biden.
Yeah, was. You said he was like passing out.
I think there's a video of him like passing out like in a meeting, bro. Like,
listen, I ain't gonna lie. Like, in like what is this? October 2024. Listening to Biden speak is wild to think that we was trying to push this man to be president.
Oh man.
You know what's scary? He's still the president.
He is.
I be forgetting he's still the president.
But like when he get on the podium, we was wilding. America, the public. We were wilding for trying to force this old man that can't string things together. Every time he get up on the thing, he try to make an old man joke. It just be bad every time.
Like bro was gonna like, I don't want to put, but like they were gonna like be literally like holding him up. Like they were gonna literally like he
his wife is gonna be holding his neck.
It's like 4 years. Like
nah.
It's never gonna happen.
Like I can't wait for 4 years to go, so we can look at what he is and be like, so we thought he was gonna be the one.
That was our leader.
This
is your leader. This is your king.
Right.
So you got a couple comments. Said in today's society, there's no opinion. Either you're going to agree with the masses or you're going to be ostracized because of cancel culture. In the 90s, I was a Republican. I was who I am right now, and most people didn't agree with that, and most totally agree with it now. But as I always have been called an asshole for being me.
Right, but I guess that still kind of goes to the concept where people disagreed with him back then, and they did. But I don't specifically agree with his first comment, where I think you can. I mean, really, the thing that you can't do is you can't sexually assault people. If you don't sexually assault people, you kind of can say what you want. You just don't apologize. Only time you get caught up in cancel culture is when you apologize. The people that apologize, they just keep apologizing and they never stop.
Oh yeah, it's like once you kiss the ring, you gotta always bow down.
But if you ain't sexually assaulting people, and if I don't know, I guess if you care enough about like LGBTQ and you gotta like get that off, then maybe they'll take some dollars out your pocket. But I think if you go outside of those two things, it ain't nothing but a war of people right now. Like black men is getting on their MAGA shit. Like the black women, they feel like black men about to let them down in the election and shit like that. And you know what I mean? Like it's just a litany of crazy things happening right now. You got not Kamala Harris, Candace Owens. She witch hunting right now. She witch hunting. I ain't gonna lie to you. We'll get into that in my memes though. But I do think that I'm not mad at the diversity of thought in today's time when it comes down to people having their opinions. Because one thing you can do, and this is probably what the internet has been beneficial with, is you can find your tribe. And a lot of people find their tribe, and their tribe can be toxic as hell, but they be having their tribes. Like you got the conservative black tribe, you got the liberal black tribe, you got the LGBTQIA plus tribe. You got the
wow.
What that plus stand for? Who them pluses, bro?
It's like when it's you ever seen Dragon Ball Z?
Yeah.
You seen when they do this?
Bro, the fusion mode though. That's the fusions, bro. That's how we refer to it as the fusion.
Hey, you better be careful, man.
Just talk about it too, now.
You just talk about the fusions, bro.
Shit, no Ford.
Oh no, but yeah. All that to say, Johnny, what's your next question, man?
I would keep it light. Hey, give me the one. No, go down. It's the bottom, right above. It's top left corner now.
Right here.
Yeah, that's this for you, real.
Oh man, and real ain't even here.
Resisted the urge to say your mom in a job interview when they asked me what I see myself doing in 10 years.
That's literally these two guys. I just stay out the way. I let them make their jokes. I don't laugh at nobody joke, whether it's good or bad.
Oh, he had to say the thing I would try to say.
What he say?
In the comment, he said, "Go ahead, cancel me." I said it.
Oh,
I think the plus it and LG all them letters peace.
Peace. Oh,
don't say it.
Yeah.
Peaceful fusion.
An Adobe file.
Yeah, an Adobe file.
Okay.
That's what he said.
But and I just got one more. Scroll up.
PDF.
Yeah.
Scroll up. Give me Darren. I think he in the middle.
Talking about right here.
Nah, up, right there. What?
Darren?
Yeah, I know.
Darren.
Oh.
Good morning. As I sit here, a 30 and up grown ass man, right, getting ready to head out to the stores early before the crowd get out there, and so I can get back home at a decent time and chill on my good Saturday. I cannot believe there was a time in my life when I would party all night and go to work like 3 hours later. Insane. And I'm gonna just be honest, man. Like we was some superheroes. And I'm not talking about going out partying. I'm talking about going out partying, closing the club down, hopping in the shower, passing out for about 3.5, 4 hours max. Going and listen, we did this often. It wasn't like once a month, twice a month. It could very well happen during the work week. Okay, I'm talking about a happy hour, a live after 5. Don't work retail. When you can really get it in and then don't have second shift the next day. That's almost like a day off. Listen, it was needed. We was outside. That was the real outside. But we didn't skip work. Now I understand use your days and shit. But we come from the era, if you're gonna party, go ahead and work too. Listen, sometimes I remember one time I had got so turned up. Yeah, I just went ahead and drove to my job and I just sat in the parking lot till it was time to. Good morning.
Now that's so. I guess
Great
with
time.
me. Well, damn. I guess. All right. Here we go. I keep saying I guess. So I'm gonna tell y'all what I'm guessing. One, shout out to Lone Ranger Keith Eason. He is the one. Yeah, he is the one that for sure. When me and him was roommates back in Durham, we clubbing whether it was Friday or Saturday night. And I think he used to have to be at FedEx at like 5 a.m. I'm talking about we getting back to the crib smack at 3 a.m. and I'm going to sleep. This guy is getting in the shower and about to work that FedEx hard labor shift for about 3-4 hours. And I'm like, and then he going to class right after that. That's one of those ones I was like, bro, you got it. Cause when we shout out to clubbing back in the day. Like that 08 to 2012 era, we used to club hard. I ain't gonna lie to you. But yeah, for me, it wasn't even specifically clubbing that I would be going to work in the morning. It was like during the initial port days where everybody used to come to the crib almost every day. And like it was nothing for the homies to pull up with the 12-packer. We was young, college or just post college, so don't judge us. But it was 40s and Miller High Lifes, 12-packs, and you was pulling up with that, or you was pulling up with some whatever the cheap brandy was at the ABC store. It was Irk and Jerk. It was, or we was doing the wine, the Colorasi, and we was up to like 2-3 in the morning chasing dreams. And I had to get my ass up to go teach kids at like 6:15, 6:30. Oh, no. I think then school might have been 8. So I had to get my ass up about 7 o'clock every day. So yeah, that's my experience with it, Johnny.
Oh yeah, nah, right. When I first, even in college, like you'd party and then I was dumb as hell my freshman, sophomore year. I had 8 o'clock classes. And so you got to go. I ain't make it to every one of them, but you got to try to go to some of those classes. And so, yeah, if you party, work hard, play hard. I think that was the motto back then. So you had to you had to get it in. It wasn't no taking work off or taking school off just because you going out drinking. I think that was part of the badge of honor of it too. It's like I want to see how hard I can push myself. And yeah, so
I've been an old man for some years then, bro, because I ain't do none of that.
For real.
Bro, I wasn't doing the partying and then going to work. And even in college, I had started leaving the college parties about 1 o'clock at the latest. It was
now you've been a conservative.
Bro, I was out.
I was
I'll go get my sleep, bro. I've always been about that.
Nah. I always felt like I could sleep later. Shout out to the Ram Brand. Like I was saying, we was closing that club now, and then we was gonna be outside that parking lot for a little bit.
Or don't let them have an after spot.
We didn't really have a lot of after spots like that in Durham. Like if it was gonna be something, it was like you inviting some junks over or something like that. But
I guess that was more when we got back to Charlotte.
I had a couple nights, but
Charlotte had like
it wasn't ever no like I'm doing this multiple times in a week. It was like a once in a while thing for me. I wasn't too well.
But the height of college. Now we was outside Thursday and then probably Saturday. Thursday night was college night. I don't know how we used to get up for them classes. Well, I just always made sure I didn't personally have any 8 a.m.s. The earliest I would schedule something would be like 11 or something like that.
That's good.
Bro, I was at a whole frat and I still was going to sleep.
Yeah, you was wild.
That's wild.
Yeah.
That's wild.
Nah. One thing I did understand when I was in college in the moment was this is a time to be alive. Enjoy and savor all these moments. You can sleep later.
All right, where we at?
Johnny, you got another one?
I'm done.
Oh, you tapped out?
You actually had one in here. I'm kind of curious about.
Oh, you can hit it.
Which one?
This TikTok.
Oh yeah.
Okay, I haven't been on TikTok for a bit, and I noticed everyone was tagging me in the whole Andrew Schultz thing about black women.
Oh, okay, we can get into this.
I'll make a different comment about Andrew Schultz and that little rat Akash thing, but I want to say something about black women, and this was my mother, and I God is my witness right now. May the Lord strike me down if I'm lying. My mother told me and my siblings when we were young kids, before I remember it was when my older brother started secondary school. It was a big deal. My older brother going off to the big boy school, and my mom sat us down. She said, if you're ever in trouble out there in the real world, look for a black woman. My mom said this. My mom was raised in this country from the age of 6, the UK. She said, look for a black woman. She said, anywhere in the world, a black woman will help you. She was never wrong. But
okay, hey, you got to the point. What y'all think about that though?
The comment. All right, so yeah, let's address that comment first. That's interesting. He took it somewhere that I wasn't prepared for. Are black women the most empathetic? I'll probably start off by saying that's probably true. I ain't mad at that statement. I'm trying to think of like if there's a group of people that you would put above them, and I can't really think of one.
What was crazy to me is I would actually think this is true, except when it comes to black men, not black boys, but black men.
No, I don't know,
bro. Like that's the only like consistently. I know black women to help. Like I done seen this, bro. Like I'm just saying, like they'll help anybody. I think that's true. Like what he's saying, as far as like, especially if you a foreigner. I don't know about black men though, bro.
But relationship dynamics is totally different than just like genuine like empathy genuine and care for people. Like there's a lot of reasons why relationships are toxic. Don't mean that black women don't have empathy for black men.
Then he said, if in danger, go up to a black woman. Now that's the thing that kind of gets me though. He did say if in danger.
And I think to me, I thought of that like loosely, not necessarily like somebody's chasing me per se.
Yeah.
But like if you're in some version of like quote unquote trouble. Not like dire need trouble, but like you need help from somebody that you hope will care. Like if you go to the social service office or some shit like that, the person that's not most likely gonna help you is gonna be probably that black woman. They got, you know what I mean? She got like the mama arm, the grandma arms. You got a little shake underneath.
The ham hocks.
Yeah, the ham hock.
I know it's a controversial opinion, but I'm just saying, like I think, and the thing is,
but
let me clarify. I think, like, I do want to clarify and make it clear. I think that black women help like as far as strangers. If you're a stranger, I think and you come up to a black woman, hey, and you're not a black man, I think you're okay. Now, as far as like if you got family members, yeah, the black woman gonna help you real quick. Like as far as your family members, but I think if she don't know you, she ain't help you do nothing as a black man.
She don't know.
I disagree.
I don't really know that.
I disagree.
To be true,
but when I heard,
I understand what you're saying. Though, do you want to go?
No, let me go because like when I first heard that, because like I don't know what race this guy is. I don't know.
He's definitely Indian
or something.
Because he talked about Akash. That'd be the only reason why I wouldn't say definitely Indian.
But like, should black women, like, we know like how much of an attack is on black women in this country and just in the world in general. Should they be that like empathetic towards people not like us when like we're obviously like
well you moving it somewhere else right now. I want to stay on if they are or not first. Right now it sounds like you're about to go to like if they should be that empathetic.
Right.
Is that true?
Yeah. I think like that we.
Well, all right. So let's move there right after we wrap this up, because I think that's another good
that is another good
space to go to. Damn, I kind of forgot exactly the point that I was gonna make, but I would. Oh, all right. So the relationship part. I do think that like we're probably conflating like a piece of one. I think that in the majority scope, I think the majority of black women care and fuck with black men in general. I do know and have seen and understand that there is a loud minority of women that be like, men ain't shit, black men ain't shit, and Tone blacking out the camera. Hey, this is a live production, fellas. So sometimes some things happen. But saying all that to say, I think that there are some bitter black women, but to me, it's the same way. Like, I think majority black men love black women, enjoy black women, would pretty much be with nobody but black women. But there is a loud minority of black men on the internet that could make it seem as though like black men really don't be fucking with black women. They're passport bros. They gonna get a white woman XYZ. I think that those are more like the loud minorities of things. And I think it's probably even slimmer on the women's side, but I'm not saying that they don't exist, but in general, I don't think that black women have disdain for like black men, especially black men that they're not in relationships with.
Yeah, and I think that this thing, like you said, I think I've even talked about how like the attack on black women goes just beyond like the medical and stuff. It's an attack on the black family structure and black relationships. And I think that's if you feel like black women don't have empathy as a black man, but this guy from the UK feels like there's empathy. This obviously like a disconnect somewhere, and I don't think it's a disconnect that we're like leaning into. I think it's an intentional thing that they've done to create that disconnect.
It wasn't about empathy. It was more so about what he was actually saying in the thing. He said his mom taught him that if in danger, go to a black woman. He says black women are treated the worst, yet they are the most loving and nurturing. I think like in your family, like I said, if you have black women that's in your family that know you and stuff like that, yes, they're gonna be the most nurturing. I think overall, like with all people, that black women are like what the point that he's making. I think it is true, except when it comes to us. Like, and I mean, it's not just black women; it's society as a whole. I think.
But I guess so. This is what I'm saying. Could you give me an example of like a scenario where a black woman will be empathetic to other people and not black men?
This is something I seen. It's this clip I seen that y'all might have seen it too before, but this was like it was basically like they had like foreigners walking down the street, or it was I think it was like they might have used it was either a foreigner or a white guy. I can't remember who it was, but then they had this black guy also that was doing the same thing. So they just did an experiment like where they was both switching. So they was acting like they was blind and they was walking up to a person to help them or whatever. So I don't think this is just black women. I think this is a societal thing where there is a fear against black men where we don't get this. So like what ended up happening though is like the people, like most of the people was willing to help the white person. As soon as they looked at him, even though he just came up on him and they didn't see him. They was willing to help this white person or whatever he was. The black man did not get the same treatment at all. Like, it's like as soon as they seen him, they feared him or they like pushed him off or they was disgusted by him. Like, it was different reactions. It's not, and that's what I'm saying. It's not just a black woman thing. I think it's a societal thing. I think even black men do it. Like, we're less likely to help each other to some degree.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So I guess, so your point isn't that black women like will fuck with everybody but black men. It's more so that society will help everybody but black men. Is that what you're saying?
To a degree, yeah. But I was trying to keep it on the topic and stick to what was actually said in the meme. Gotcha.
In which, yeah, again, I understand it. I understand what you're saying. So I guess it's not a reason to keep circling.
We got a couple comments that might lead to some thoughts here.
And don't forget, I do want to address the Andrew Schultz thing, and then I know Johnny had hit the push forward also on it.
Okay,
but yeah, you can hit the comments.
In today's society, black women are not the most empathetic because they mimic what they thought black men did back in the day, and now black women are the new niggas. It's not the point of a black woman being in a relationship. They are toxic towards black men because they just don't like black men. When I work at Bank of America, black women would look at me and roll their eyes, but the white women would smile and say thank you.
See, in my work experience, now maybe it's because it ain't a lot of us, I've always had the best relationships with the black women at my job. Like,
yeah, same.
Always. Like, it's always been like a space of like, not like safe. Like I'm like, there go the black lady. So like, I don't know. That had never been my experience with black women in the corporate world.
Again, same for me. Where outside of like, everybody met Alex. I used to work with Alex. So it was Alex, but then the other closest people that I would, categorize as close enough to friends were black women my age, similar, experiences. Grew up like West Side, Charlotte. One of them was like from Gastonia. And because we had so much in common, we could relate inside, like I'm inside like a predominantly white space. So like we all kind of almost like come together inside like a hive type of scenario in general. But yeah, I haven't, I can't really think of a time that I've inside corporate America that I've like really dealt with black women anguish. I've definitely dealt with like some white woman shit for sure.
That too.
I didn't have a white woman trying to get me out my job and everything. I can attest to the white woman thing. I specifically can't speak to like the black and Asian woman thing too. Like I didn't like them Asian women. They be on their
Sue Young trying to get you out of
there. Yeah, you got get them. You know what I mean? I'm a stay away from racial epithets and pejorative language. But the people that I have been able to count on for sure have been black women. Me personally. But I know I am the fence fit. What is it? The fence sitting feminist.
No, I'm not gonna give you that on this
feminist.
I'm not gonna give you that on this one. Different people's experiences is different. So I mean, like, yeah. And I'm not even judging just from my experience. I'm just looking at what I've seen in a lot of different other people's experiences. I kind of wish Ray was here to talk about
who would you say comes. So if we say like the scale is slanted for black men in general, who comes to the aid of black men first? In general, though.
Oh, as far as people,
like if you went like the overall scope.
Oh, I would say, dang, that's a hard one.
Man, it's black women,
bro. That's easy.
I was about to say black daughters.
Your daughter gonna tip the scale. Gonna come to your mama coming to your aid too, bro. Mamas, they sons be killers.
Yeah.
And they be like,
oh, not my mama, bro.
We gotta for that shit. All right, we talking about like the overarching mama. Yeah. Like, you know how many mamas be putting the house up for their killer son to get that bail, and then he come out and then he skip out and they be losing the shit.
Take the whole house.
Shout out to Chicago. You know what I mean? Like,
take care.
Yeah, it be the mamas loves it'll run deep. You be effed up as a kid, effed up as an adult. Your dad, he'll give you that boot. I know my dad, it was once you 18, you got a job or you out this, you got a job, you in school or you out the house. Mama gonna try and make a way a little bit. She gonna make sure that you can stick around a little bit.
All right, let's go to the next topic.
Okay, all right. Let me hit him up. Let's go to me. Hit refresh. I feel like it, or maybe you're not at the top. I feel like it's a couple different ones. We're gonna have some fun, and then we're gonna get to the money. Let's start off with the let's do Candace. Let's start off with Candace. We got two Candace ones. Go left and then go to right.
By hoes, I'll say it. I'm absolutely fascinated by the way the hoe mind works, the way the hoe hive works. I'm fascinated. I cover it on my show. You are correct. It is trending. And that's when Emma gets up and does a video and says something like, it's chic to be divorced before you're 30. It is absolutely fascinating to see how someone's mind can be so warped. In the same way that I think it's fascinating when anybody does anything crazy or says anything crazy, and I cover it on my podcast. I am not knocking it at all. I just tell people what the facts are. You can choose this lifestyle, and here is where you are 99.9% likely to lead in your life, right? You are probably not destined for marriage. You're probably not destined for a stable relationship. Men are going to not want this long term. You can say it 1,000 times. You can have 1,000 cultural examples, and women's still got to go out there and be hoes, because they're about their money and about a Cardi B song or whatever it is. So yes, I think it is fascinating. I am fascinated by hoes. I'll say it.
She's fascinated.
So how do y'all feel about hoes? Are y'all fascinated by hoes?
There was a time in my life. there was a time in my life where I was definitely fascinated with the hoes.
Hoes are interesting.
They're very interesting. Like people, like usually they got the best stories. They got the best tea.
Best personalities.
They usually know the best little tricks. I'm a fan, but but as far as like what she's saying, that is true because most of them just end up crashing out on themselves because I think it's being dishonest with yourself about what you really want, and you're doing one thing, but it's not, the actions aren't lining up with what you say you want. And maybe that is the life some of them want. And if you're happy, I don't judge. That's what you want to do, go ahead. But I've seen too many cases where 10, 15 years down the line, you see a lot of regret. And it's been, I think we played stuff on here before where the regret is the thing that I be, if you my homegirl or you a family member, that's what I just don't want for nobody. Is do you, but don't regret it at the end of the day.
Got it. What about you, Tone?
What I think of the hoes.
Are you fascinated by the hoes?
Man. Bro, I could care less about the hoes, bro.
Have hoes ever fascinated you?
Oh, yeah, at a certain point, yeah.
Okay, maybe acting like he ain't never liked the hoes.
Nah,
acting like he ain't never. Hey, come on. Everybody like the hoes, bro.
Yeah, the hoes cool to hang out.
They're even funner when you're not dating them.
Yeah, exactly. That's like the part.
Like if you can not be dating them and just like sometimes be inside spaces with a hoe, kicking it at kickbacks with the hoes. They're fun.
I'll say he fascinated about hoes right now. Will be tomorrow. What was the last year, the year before that, and 2 years from now?
Say it again.
He said he fascinated about hoes right now. Will be tomorrow.
Oh, yeah.
He was last year, the year before that, and 2 years from now.
Right.
Yeah.
No. Like that's just a male thing. Like there's a certain level of fascination that I don't think you specifically lose. But there's restraint, there's discipline, there's understanding. That's the shadowy place that Mufasa talked about.
That's exactly it. That's how I feel about it. Like, don't go over there.
Yeah, you just know better discernment. Like,
you see that dark place over there?
A bunch of hyenas over there.
If she know more than 2 sexy red songs, just stay away from it.
Bruh.
Just stay away. Like that's the shadowy place. That's where them hyenas at.
He told Simba don't go over there, bro.
Yeah.
That is daddy killed.
Right. But so nonetheless, staying on the not Kamala Harris, the Candace Owens train. She has been on fire lately. Right now, one, she's just like such an interesting person because she's kind of went full tinfoil on everything. Like
she been like that though.
At one point in time, like, and this is what I appreciate about her is that I think that she just was on black people at that moment. But she done went for the like when you want to talk about like the psychology field in general and Sigmund Freud and all them people, she done went full on the small hat people from Israel. She done went full on Hollywood. She done went full in on like you can kind of name the thing, and she like the moon landing. She don't believe much of nothing. And she questions everything and think everything's a conspiracy. And so one, that's really interesting. And she does like her Googles and her fact checks. So lately, she has locked her teeth in on the Kamala Harris.
Bro, she been getting family members and everything.
Conversation. And my algorithm on my TV be playing it for me. So like every day I get the new update. Where she started out, she was defending Janet Jackson. She said, it's one thing you don't do. You ain't coming after no Janet Jackson. No. so she started and said, you know what? I'm gonna find out if you really black. And she's been going down the line. So she's been on her father's side. And I think that she believes that he's a Freemason. What is it? She thinks he's a Freemason, or her family tree is a Freemason communist that plan to take over the world. And her dad is some version of an actor. Her mom is also a communist from India, and she thinks that there's like some version of a global cabal that goes with it. But what has been interesting has been like she is using the internet, as in getting everybody that, like the people inside Jamaica to get the documents and the research. She's pulling up the birth certificate. She's going down the whole like lineage tree. She's going to like when the mother and the dad was first landing in America, XYZ. And it's like really amazing black woman journalism. And I'm like, God damn. Last thing you really want to do is piss off a black woman. Because she's like wielding all force that she can. Bro, that's on finding out if Kamala is black.
She like,
and right now she done put a white woman on it too.
I've been laughing at people trying to say like when people were saying Candace ain't black. I'm like, bro, she's exactly like what.
If you actually listen to her talk,
yeah, that's all. She
kind of talks black too, but
yeah, I'm like, if y'all actually have y'all listened to her, I'm like, or see how much.
But most people they don't even listen to her in long form to
like,
where
if you see how much investigating she doing, the proof she is show, like she's showing you the shit. Go look and see if it's true or not.
You can tell that her hairstylist is black. Well, I think she said like her sister or her aunt, somebody does her hair, and you could tell like she just has some of that influence still in her. But yeah, you can click it. I don't know, like we probably ain't gonna play the whole thing because I think she.
Do you guys understand like what I am piecing together here? It is my view today that Kamala Harris descends from a long line of wealthy slave owners who then turned into communist leaders with the explicit goal of overthrowing countries and overriding people's independent freedom under the guise of offering them more freedom, more handouts. This seems to be the picture that we are painting on both sides of her family. Her mother came from a wealthy Indian communist family. Okay. Now we know, or I have a suspicion that her father as well came from a wealthy family of slave owners. I do believe that this is his true mother, not Beryl. And I'm going to again now show you a different chart. This is just me putting together what I think the true family tree is. And obviously this is going to take a lot more investigation, but I don't know about Shamala Goplin yet. I'm still investigating her. I'm really sticking with Donald Harris yet because I haven't felt like we've answered all.
This ends up being like 5 or 10 minutes. She does go down.
She said investigation.
Like she every episode she is digging as deep as you can.
But
whether it's true or not, and a lot of it is like hinges on if she think like a person in this picture look white or not, and different things like that. But she's going completely in. Go ahead, Johnny.
No, she sound like them FBA boys.
Oh yeah.
Like she sound like she calling Kamala a tether. It sounds like she basically trying to put that tether.
She's not even calling.
Well, no, I
think she ain't part of our community.
Well, I think that she's pushing to say that she's not like she doesn't really have any black in her.
Oh, like you're not even like Pan African or like
I think that she's trying to say that her grandma is a white woman named Iris. That Donald Harris is a communist whose family were slave owners in Jamaica that date back to a Freemason lodge in England.
Oh shit!
Okay. And all of that sounds right. That's the crazy part.
That's her thing. That
if you study any of this stuff, all of that sounds right.
So yeah, and then she did like a Freemason breakdown and stuff like that too. Like I said, she has some entertaining commentary. Shout out to Trey. Trey, I have to ask him because I always get confused on all the new rules with FBA and what makes an FBA.
Like, does she get the pass because of this?
Well, no, because Nipsey got the FBA pass, and I was like, wait. So, well, Nipsey has Eritrean dad, I think, but his mom is FBA, so he's a halfer. But they throw the FBA on him. But Candace has a Caribbean mom, and then her dad's family is FBA, but she can't be FBA. How does this make sense?
She's a muggle.
Even
how does this make sense? They just be making things,
bro. Even with Janet, you know, people were starting to sit there and talk about Janet. Man, Janet got a white nose. I'm like D.L. Hughley said something about that. I was like, bro, she black. Let's not. Like, we know their whole family is, but we actually know the Jackson family.
Yeah. Nah, she's definitely black. I also do think that Kamala's black, but this is really interesting to me. Like, I'm enjoying watching this, and I'm not mad if she uncovers and it ends up being something. Like, I'm just here for the entertainment.
Yeah, I don't like I said.
If she can convince me, it'll be fun.
But I do like Candace. Candace is being on fire with the info.
Oh yeah. Now she a pit bull. She latch on.
Yeah,
starts shaking it, motherfucker. All right, so I got a couple quick ones. Then I got two ones that might have legs to it.
Candace Owens and Trey are the same. Both of them are hood tethers.
Ouch.
Maybe. I think what I would give Candace is that I think she grew up poor with a granddad, and so I mean, like that would be the one thing that I would give her. Trey, he sometimes he'll throw us together, so I'll be having to ask him like some things, but I don't know. Trey, my dog, I rock with Trey. I don't have to agree with you to rock with you, and that's my dog Trey. I rock with him. I don't know. I was getting confused that episode that he was saying us, so I sometimes I'd be wondering. Johnny might can inform us a little bit more.
I was.
You allow him to do that?
No, I ain't allow him to do it. But
I was saying you allow him to explain himself. But you saying you gonna clear it up?
No, I'm not gonna clear it up. I'm just saying I heard it and I was like,
your hands got to moving. Ain't that our Trey? That's our dog. But nonetheless, let's go to. I'm gonna hit two of them back to back. Look at homeboy bottom left. Where you at beside Cam Newton? We talk about the club.
I bet you on everything I love, you can't get now, nigga, to try me in that shit. Cause I am not playing. I bet you on everything I love.
On everything I love. Get them out of here.
Yeah. I'm sure all of y'all have been inside a function with a homie. At some point in time, was like, all right, yeah, we gotta get up out of here. You about to turn this into something. I can't say that that's specifically been me. I'm trying to think. I don't think so, but that is a hood caricature that we've all seen in place, especially if you went outside long enough.
And you can almost watch it happen.
Yeah,
like if you're paying enough attention in the club, that stuff is never a surprise.
Yeah, you just
like if you were aware, you can see it happen in about 15, 20 minutes before it actually pop off. You'll see a motherfucker hands going up and down. And
yep.
Then,
ding, ding,
then
ding.
you hear, oh, everything I love.
Can't nobody in here beat my ass. Like when they start throwing those challenges out, it's like,
and it's like, but they gonna shoot your ass, bro.
Yeah. All right, let me go to the next one. This is another good quick one. Right above him. I think
it's funny how guys can just go to a park or a random gym and play pickup basketball together. They don't know each other, but they all know the rules. They know their roles. Sometimes they don't even speak the same language, and it always trips me out. I'll ask my husband, do you know this guy? He's like, no, we don't know each other. It's just what guys do. That's wild. I think it's funny how guys can just
I will say this. I have been inside a basketball group chat for at least 5 years. I don't have none of their names saved. I be hooping with them. Like it be on and off, but like the sessions be Monday and Wednesdays. And 85% of them, and it be the same people over and over. I don't know their names. Like it is kind of crazy when you sit and think about it. But like we all coordinate, we all go hoop, we sit and talk a little shit right then, and then we leave. And it's such a funny thing that's kind of like a very guy thing where sometimes you just have activities that you don't even need to know their name, but y'all all committed to doing the thing. And I think that's fire. All right, so to go into, I guess, more better or heavier topics, let's hit Shorty right there in the middle, right beside the one you just clicked.
I struggled with my son actively avoiding me until I learned that the conversation is the connection. When I woke up in the morning, my eyes would immediately go to all the things that he didn't do the night before. The kitchen counters weren't wiped down. The clothes were not put in the laundry. There's a towel on the back of the toilet. Before my son even heard good morning, he heard me fussing about all of the stuff that he didn't do. I was aggravated because it's not like he doesn't know what's expected of him. I've said the same things over and over again, so I'm tired, right? I used to demand that he do what I wanted him to do, and it was my way or we got a problem. And I had a habit of sneak attacking him where he would get in the car and I would be silent on the ride, and then right before we get to the school, that's when I start fussing about stuff. And then the conversation would end with something like, just get out of the car, instead of us saying bye or I love you or have a good day, or it was just silent. And I'm the one who put that distance there. When I started being truly more flexible and not circling back to previous things that he did that got on my nerves, and stayed calm and explained my thoughts and feelings to him from a place of trying to teach him and connect with him instead of ordering him around, that's what changed our relationship to where we could have candid conversations. I had to let go of my belief that children have to stay in their place and that I needed to control everything. If it hadn't been for me changing, he already told me he was going to put me in a home and leave me there. I struggled with my son actively avoiding me until
that was it. But no, I think that I would say parenting a teen, that's like the final boss and on the video games. Like that's the final level, in which I think that there should be more conversations around that in general. And even how like progressively your parenting style does have to change. Because we all can recall back when, as we got more mature, we started feeling like our parents was like, you know what I mean, whether it was like controlling or overstepping or too restrictive, or like inside a lot of things that she said, like overbearing inside conversation or discipline or XYZ. And I think that is a very necessary conversation and constant critique that should be explicitly done by parents, especially when you have teens. Like this is my first go around, so I'm just kind of walking through. But when I seen out and I was listening, I was like, damn, there are definitely different little things that she said that when I sit back and my parenting critique comes when I get in the shower, and I'm just sitting there thinking and I'm reflecting on the day and XYZ. But she definitely said some things that I was like, man, that is some of those critiques that I sit with and I'd be like, dang, I could have done better at that. when I'm actually thinking about like building and forging a better connection, or like did what I say actually connect? Going to who mean was that earlier? Yeah, your mean. Where did it actually connect and why didn't it? And then it's like, okay, what is the line of being heard and discipline? Like it's so many of these interesting little things that you have to freestyle to an extent and try and adjust on the fly with when it comes down to actually parenting a teenager, especially when you're inside my shoe. Like I still can kind of remember my mindset as a teenager. I can still reflect on that and be cognizant of it. So yeah, thoughts.
I mean, I ain't got kids right now, so it's gonna be at least 13, 14 years for I'm in that 15. I'm put that out there, 15. For I have this, but
I don't think it count till they get to high school anyway. So 14 to 15.
But I remember, being a teenager and being the challenge. And there were certain things I wish that would have went differently. There's, a lot of what she's saying I can understand from the kids' perspective, because I did feel like I had a lot of those same complaints. So it's good to hear other parents acknowledge that, to make it feel like almost like the gaslighting and the thing that I wasn't just crazy, that like I might have had a legitimate gripe or a legitimate complaint about some of the stuff growing up that I just thought was being crazy. I was just being ungrateful and stuff. It was like, oh, okay, so that's something that's a normal thing with people. Somebody else has felt that too. So
yeah. And Tony, did you have something?
Nah, not exactly. I'm sitting there trying to think about it because my situation is kind of different. So it's like,
so I guess as you're thinking about it, I'll kind of jump in with this. I was watching something else, and it kind of had me reflecting on different things that I do, and just kind of like different things I want to try and avoid. You said something that kind of triggered it. It was not being grateful. There we go. Not being grateful or whatnot. And as a parent, or as parents, or having parents that can put that in your face as a thing, as like leverage, like I did this, that, and the third for you. And I can't remember what it was. Matter of fact, I know what it was. It was the like, this is like a bad comparison, but I was watching the little Menendez thing on Netflix or whatever. And they had a whole episode about like the dad and how, like, because he was doing a lot of things, even though he was like a fucked up person, he was doing a lot of things, and he'll throw it in their face that he's doing these things and that they should be grateful, even though in him doing it, he was still a shitty person. Right. And where I thought that was like an interesting thing, where you can see exaggerations of what parenting could be, and you can be like, these are pitfalls I need to stay the fuck away from. And that was one of those things inside watching that it was a couple things I was like, yeah, be conscious, stay away from that. That's so easy to fall into. Like you've told that line, get the fuck away from there. And like the ungrateful thing is like such an interesting one as well, because it's easy to feel that your kid is being ungrateful, but like I don't know. I don't necessarily have like specifically a full frame explanation for it, but I think that
it's impossible for like a 16, 17-year-old, 18-year-old to show appreciation.
Well,
like, as a grown person.
Let me finish that thought really quickly. I'm gonna throw it to you. Like at the end of the day, if they quote unquote are ungrateful, they are a product of the behaviors in which you have instilled in them. So like even that still falls on you. Right. So like if you haven't taught them gratitude, if you haven't set up the structures, in my opinion, I think that it still falls on you. Like there's some culpability and accountability that still goes with that. If like grateful. Go ahead, Johnny. My bad.
No, I was just I mean, like you're right, but even then, like I still think it takes time.
Yeah.
To really truly appreciate your parents and to ask for that appreciation from a kid. it's kind of unfair because it's like they ain't even.
Well, they only know what they know.
Yeah, it's like, and so it's like you got to be. I think all parents should be careful of just not being overbearing because sometimes that stuff has lasting effects, especially if you might not even want to address it later down the line. So yeah, I think,
and that ends up being like a thing that we don't realize as well as that, and that's where I know my conundrum is that, like, I understand the road that I walk now is going to have lasting effects, whether good or bad, no matter what. And so, like, there's always constant critique of it, and there's the line of like being overbearing, and then like the quote unquote freedom side of it, in which like I'm not a specifically freedom person or a parent. But there's also like the line of you do have to allow them to be their own autonomous self inside spaces and places and allow them to grow and sprout their own rings, have their own personalities, voice their own selves to where you can be confident that when put out on their own, they're going to be that as well. And that is the hardest part from going from having like elementary and middle school kids, where you kind of have your hands on them and you can continue. And even when they're out, you can kind of like still be making sure but eventually there becomes the progression. Once they're teens, you got to kind of let that bird fly.
Well, I imagine there's a lot of that's about trusting your work.
Yeah.
It's like, I imagine like if you're a computer programmer, like you spend hours writing the code and then you have to test it. And like a lot of that time when you're like sending your kid out there, you're like, man, I wonder if I got all those bugs out. I wonder if she, when this I seen how he acted under pressure when he was getting his ass whooped on this video game. I wonder how that's gonna translate in school with his grades or when he
or just the actions that matter, like the moments where you have to make a decision that could make a difference. Like if you decide to go with that crowd or that crowd, if you decide to do this thing or that thing. To me, that's all as a parent you're kind of prepping your kid for, is when the most important decision is made, are you going to be prepared to say no? Really, it's not even necessarily saying yes, but saying no.
I can definitely agree with that mindset as far as like how I was sitting there thinking about stuff. Y'all know my situation is different. My kids are in Virginia. They in a whole different state. So it's like I don't get to see them as much, but I have my girlfriend's daughters that I am in their life. And just even the approach that has to be taken with them, it's a little bit different. Like not being the actual parent, but still being involved in the house. But even that has a certain level of, you have to pay attention to the subtleties of things sometimes. I think that's what it is. Like a lot of like, and my girl talks about this with certain stuff too, but it's like just paying attention to what they do. Like the stuff that you really need to address is in like keeping in mind that you're raising somebody to go out into the world. And that's what I think is the most important part. A lot of parents just look at it as like, this mine, but it's like they're not going to live with you forever. They're not going to always be with you forever. So it's like you need to be raising them to be in a way where they can operate in the world and paying attention to those habits that they have within the house. That's like, hey, this is going to limit you. Let's try to eliminate this.
Yep. But then that goes to the other side of what she was saying, where like there's a certain way of correction over extended period of time.
I would agree with
and that's what, like she was saying, like her kid was starting to become avoidant XYZ because like I've set out these things that I need you to do. They're not getting done, but all you ever hear is me saying that you're not doing it. You're not doing it. You're not doing it. And where there's definitely a breakdown in communication, and then like it becomes its own different little thing to kind of unpack when it comes down to effective parenting and getting a kid to understand what you want to understand. Because the one thing about it, and we all can attest because we was the same age, kids ain't robots. You could tell them what you want to tell them over and over and over. You could even whoop it. That don't mean they're gonna do it either way. And that's another piece to think.
I would say something important that I've learned is you have to understand that, like, before you start fussing, sometimes you have to understand what it is they're thinking when they do what they do. And sometimes just asking that question is like a big deal. Like, what is it that you was thinking? Like, why did you do this?
Let me tell you what they're gonna say.
Huh?
Oh no.
I don't know.
But I meant like
every time, boy. And then you gotta dig into that.
You gotta dig into
because I'm gonna
it.
ask them. So like you gotta explain your I don't know, because then I'm gonna start putting assumptions on you. Then you got to defend that too.
Mm-hmm. And I think that's a key though, like being able to help them figure out, because you do know, but you're just not thinking about what it is. Like I think that's probably a help in mental capacity, because it'd be like you are doing a thing, you don't realize that you're reacting this way, but I'm going to help you figure out why you're doing this.
Yeah.
Like, and just asking the question, sometimes they start thinking about it. Like, and then from then on, if they do something else, they're going to know why they did it, because they're going to be thinking, why am I doing this? Sometimes, yeah. But I think the more you do that, it will become a habit.
I hope so. I'm a first time teenage parent. So I'm working on cracking the code, bro.
Yeah, I think QJ is gonna be all right.
Oh no, I hope so.
As far as I'm talking about, as far as like what we talking about too, like even seeing the exchange of ideas, like how you interact with people and everything like that. I think kids emulate more what they see than anything else.
Yeah, and again, I hope so. I believe so. But that doesn't keep from critiquing the action and trying to continually get better at said thing. And the end of the day, one thing teens gonna be is teens, and you ain't gonna clean that bathroom. I done told you clean that bathroom. Well, I don't want to clean that damn. Well, make up your bed. Like I'm annoyed. I keep walking by, and then never mind. I'm about to start dragging. You gotta go. Boy, when
I've been waiting.
I'm gonna tell you one thing about them kids, them teens, them teen boys. Like especially like QJ, he be like right now he's in the bulking season, so like he's eating a lot. Boy, every morning I open that door, that motherfucker smell like gas, like just eggs. Like I'm talking about, like, are you just only farting in your sleep? But when I open that door, it make me just be looking around and be like, boy, you got them dressers. You got them. I'll be like, good Lord.
You got to get him a fan, bro.
I got to
crack a window or something.
I open that door and I be smelling
the air freshener. I be smelling that. It's smelling good in here.
Get some air freshener.
I feel like, how are you living in this gas chamber right now? And it just make me start looking at the clothes laying on the floor. I'm like, it gotta do something with that. All right, so that's
gonna be mad when he see this.
He ain't gonna see this one. We good.
That'd be the funny part. Hey, what's funny is, do you remember being a teen and listening to your parents tell other people's stories? You'd be like, why is she telling me that?
Yeah.
And then when you grow up, be like, it ain't even that big of a deal. Like adults don't care. You realize it.
Well, I wouldn't have said that story if you was here. That'd be the difference. QJ ain't watching the podcast. I don't really care.
Oh yeah, but that'd be the funny part. It'd be like, once you grow, you'd be like, man, they don't even care about them stories that much. Like it wasn't even that big of a deal.
Yeah.
But it'd be embarrassing when you.
Oh, that shame would be real though.
Yeah.
All right, let's read some comments. Johnny, don't be analyzing human beings against computer programs. You need to let your nuts loose and have a kid or two.
Hey, they loose. I'm just being responsible.
Once you have talked to your child and explained things to them, all you can do is sit back and let them grow, and they will either take what you said, they will take it and use it later. Be a positive or a negative. The lady was telling her child the right thing to do, but she was saying it and he didn't want to hear it. That's just a teenage thing. No teenager wants to hear what their parents have to say.
Mm-hmm.
A child does what they are by the age of 14 or 15 years old. They have their personality. That is mostly going to be who they are for the rest of their lives. Lazy kid, lazy adult. Don't tell on yourself, LOL.
I don't know what that was.
I don't know who she's talking about.
Oh, okay. I can go with one more, or we can get up out of there. We can go to Tom.
Yeah, do one more.
Y'all want to do relationship or reflection on us? I'll give y'all and then I go.
Us is who?
Men or people, black people or anybody. It could be relationships or it could be
relationship.
Okay. All right. Go to the messages, Tone.
All right.
And hit mine, and you just scroll up till you see a Facebook little thing that you gotta click. Maybe a little bit right there.
They gotta fix this on Facebook thing.
The incognito window.
Yeah.
Open discussion. What is killing relationships nowadays? So this was interesting. Like as I scrolled through some of the thing, the biggest thing that I seen, the most consistent thing that I seen was social media. They'll name a bunch of things, but I seen a lot of social media. And I thought that was interesting. So one, I'll throw it up to y'all. What do you think is killing relationships nowadays? And for them, it seemed like social media was a big impact to it. Fellas.
I think the reason social media kills relationships.
Oh, so you do think social media?
Hold on, real quick. I hate to interrupt this, but this is funny. Ma said, Quintel, you know, I was talking to you. You know how you was when you was a teenager. I guess you're talking about you. You had a gassy room too.
Oh, you used to blow the shit up too.
You used to blow the room.
I probably did. I don't know.
He used to blow.
I only remember the important things. I don't remember if my room stunk. I don't know.
Yeah, your room probably stunk.
Probably did. Probably smelled like QJ room.
All right, back to what is killing relationships.
Yeah, but I think like the reason social media kills relationships is not because of social media. I think I saw it up there, but it's a lack of trust. Social media gives us a lot of options. So just the internet in general gives us way more options, way more access to things that we probably didn't have in previous generations. And like true loyalty, like a man isn't loyal when he doesn't have options. True loyalty is when you have options and you still choose somebody. And so it's like we have all these options now, and people are just afraid that they're just placeholders. They're just the right now and not actually, being chosen. And I mean, you see it a lot. Like if you run and talk all your relationship drama on the internet, it's hard to not think that's something that's affecting your relationship.
Yeah, Johnny, fire point there. You got a good quotable in there. I would definitely say though, I think social media is definitely a thing as far as and this even is biblical. One of the 10 commandments is about not coveting, which means not like wanting what your neighbor has or wanting what the next person has. Like just aiming for that. I think that's a lot of what happens within relationships. People are looking at what they think people's relationships look like, and they're trying to base theirs off of that. And
the fantasy of social media.
Because what they say, comparison is the thief of joy.
Yeah.
Like if you comparing like your worst feelings against somebody's best moments on the internet, of course it's gonna be a disconnect, or it's not gonna line up because you're not judging apples and you're judging apples and oranges. It's not the same shit.
And I would even say regular media, even like, because there's some unrealistic expectations of relationships even within the shows. So it's like people are expecting these TV relationships, and this is not just a thing of today. This has kind of been a thing. But you got people who are expecting these TV relationships, they're expecting these social media relationships, and they're missing the part of what actually is involved. Like there's like a deficit of compassion. Mm-hmm. So with a lot of people, so it's like you looking at social media, and then you get with this person, you don't even have any compassion for this person or that much compassion.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
No, yeah. I mean, yeah. I think just the options and stuff. It causes, and I think there's been
so in general is that the consensus right now that what is killing? I guess the biggest killer of relationships today would be
the lack of trust.
Social media.
I say lack of trust, because I think you could have, if there was more trust, you could have social media.
I guess I probably lean closer to social media being a big piece. I don't necessarily put it at lack of trust. I think that it's comparison. It's like seeing the grass outside. Like you can see all the grass you ever could see. You can see everybody that you ever known from college. No, my bad. Scratch that. From high school all the way up until your coworkers today.
Middle school, bro.
In middle school, and like what they're doing, how they look, like if they just became single or not. The trips that they're going onto, you only see them filtered with makeup on XYZ. The guys, you only see them like when they're inside, like they baller mode, popping a bottle or going on the trip or some shit like that. And like that comparison in itself leads a person to thinking that you're not doing enough. You could be doing more. What you have isn't good enough. It leads to a lot of like the things that I said. And I think what you said also goes into it, like the idea of like you even have more options because of, you know, if you just a halfway decent person and you have a social media, you're gonna get some back and forth in the DMs. Like it's just a natural thing that'll happen, and everybody doesn't have discernment or the ability to say no or ignore or anything like that. And yeah, to me, I think that ends up being like a really, really big thing when it comes down to relationships today, is that in the past, you got into a relationship, like let's just say like 1995, you got into a relationship. You might have only seen the people from your college if you decided to go to homecoming
or class reunion.
That's
10 years later.
You don't know what these niggas doing.
I was thinking about that. Like high school, you didn't see them till 10 years later or 20 years later.
Yeah.
Like compared to, hey, I'm watching these people on every step of the road.
I get to see their whole journey.
Yeah.
And I think that we don't realize that part where like you get to see, if you want to, if you haven't unfollowed or whatever, you get to see the glow up of like one of your exes from like 4 or 5 years ago that now you don't even feel that bad about, and XYZ. Or like she get to see like the same vice versa. Or you get to see the ugly duckling that blossomed to a swan that used to hit on you and be like, man,
I should have.
Or even you get to see the person you thought you was better than in school.
Yeah.
Do way better than you.
Turn the fuck up.
Yeah.
And I think
that's humbling.
That in itself does like play a big part in people and like their ability to stay, their ability to judge what they actually have and if it's valuable or not valuable, just to find out, you know, I mean, you get what whatever shorty is, let's just say shorty. When you wake up and she ain't got that makeup on, she ain't got that filter on, you be like, oh, God damn it.
The motherfucker snore.
God damn it. Wake up and be coughing.
Drooling and shit.
Yeah. You like, this ain't what I seen on social media.
She got 1,000 likes.
Oh yeah, bro.
But then you be like, oh, you spent 2 hours in the bathroom. You made a face.
Oh yeah. And here's something I'll say too. This is a point I wanted to make earlier. Like I quit giving a fuck about like the social media and shit, because like I've seen the lengths people would go to try to impress people on social media. Like I seen this girl at my job one year. My boy had went overseas. He's from Colombia. He went to Colombia. He had some videos. Mm-hmm. He was showing everybody. She was like, send me that one. And he was like, why? And she was like, just send it. He sent it to her. She went and posted it on Snapchat so her ex-husband would go and look at it and slide in her DMs. And I was just like, the diabolical nature of social media right now, it's like you almost can't trust nothing, because like a lot of times you'll look at somebody's highlights and it might be a lie. It might not even be really what they portraying it out to be, and they just portraying it out to make you feel the type of way or make you see it. And like after seeing that, I'll be like, damn, it's a cold world out here.
It was some relationship that just got discovered. I didn't know these people until I seen the drama, but it was this interracial couple. And the whole time the woman, it was a black woman and a white man. And she's been talking, like she had been putting up on the internet the whole time that this white man was taking care of her and all of that stuff. But come to find out, when they started falling out, she started telling the truth. She been paying for everything the whole time, like different mistreatment and everything. So I'm like, yeah, a lot of the times we don't know. And it makes sense though. Like if you think about what it takes for people to record certain videos and everything like that, you can see through the illusion.
Yeah, like I mean, I've seen, I've just seen a lot of people do a lot of stuff for social media, and like you'll be beside somebody, y'all in the same place, and you'll see their story, and you be like, damn, that shit look good as fuck. What the fuck? Oh shit, that's my apartment. Wait a minute, that's my spot. How you make that shit look so good,
what
bro?
The angles can do, goddamn,
bro. It be the angles. It literally be the angles.
And like so, like after that,
put that bitch in portrait mode.
Yeah, you can't even too much. You can't even too much like worry about like what somebody out there on social media doing, because you might be you could be chasing a lie. Like you might get out there and it ain't even grass, it's turf over there. And it's hot as fuck on the turf. People don't, and you'll blow your ACL out on turf. People don't even talk about that. So like, don't be out here, just because it's green don't mean.
What is that?
Grass.
Blowing your ACL is a metaphor for what?
No, it's a legit thing in the NFL.
Oh no, I get that. What would that be like a metaphor for? Like you're gonna blow your bag? What is that? Your 401k? I'm just wondering where that metaphor.
ACL could be anything. It could be a crash out. It could be. I mean, I've seen motherfuckers go out and like hoe around trying to like. Go. It's a lot of crash outs. All the ACL could be a lot of things.
A lot of crash outs. Yeah. Go ahead, Tom.
My stepson in the comments. I'll go ahead and read.
I thought you put him on punishment. He got
bro,
internet access.
Yeah, bro. I don't know why he on the internet, bro.
That nigga said no outside, no phone, no tablet, no
hard-headed, bro. He ain't even a teen no more. I thought that was gonna stop with the teenagers.
Yeah,
nah,
you got discipline. He lacked discipline.
Bruh said social media makes people believe they have more options, but I think the biggest reason which could be impacted by social media is unrealistic expectations.
Yeah, they go hand in hand.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they definitely go hand in hand because you got expectations.
That's what I'm. Yep. Yeah. There you go.
Yeah.
And a lot of that be lies.
Social media kills relationships because of illusions. The illusion of a person being what they are not, but can portray what they want online. Think about it. Yeah.
Thought about it.
Yeah.
Well, when Unc be dropping the bean, he'll tell y'all, or he'll tell us. He say, "Think about it." That's his favorite little thing. Like when he dropped the bean, it's like, "Think about it."
Oh yeah, and a lot of people got social media personas. Totally, that's
not facts.
The journey highlights. Hello, y'all know what he's talking about?
I don't know. What you mean? Talking about like? Well, that's what social media is. Is that what? I imagine that's what he's talking about. That's what I take it as. Like,
oh, okay. I think I know what he's talking about. Like, the stories, I guess.
Yeah, like your stories, your posts are only highlights of your journey in general. Niggas ain't taking a picture when they watching Netflix with a beat on and draws and
hole in the sock,
in the sock, do-rag on with. Never mind. Keep going.
But see, like we say that, but just to be fair, because that's what we do.
Be fair.
We say that about people posting the highlights, but we also talk shit about a motherfucker who posts their ass crying though too.
Yeah.
Like
that shit ain't for the internet.
It be for the same. Like be like it's not for the same reason. That's what make it bad.
It's like
we actually only want to see niggas highlights.
Like
nigga, don't bring me down on this.
You crying on the internet, bro?
Hey, that's actually a fair point. We talk.
And then
we talked about how
more than once. Like
this
did come out right. Let me start over.
Hey, that's nasty work. If you got to redo the cry,
a second take
like,
on
a cry
I
ain't mean to say that.
Diabolical.
Let me redo this.
Yeah, but no, I think that's actually probably like one of the better points in the fact that as much as we critique people posting the highlights, we also shit on people
at their lowest on the internet,
or that post their lowest.
Yeah, talk about their relationship,
or even a low. Yeah, and because we'll be like, damn, they spilling too much for the internet.
Some things aren't for the internet, and so is it the internet's problem or is it a us problem?
Or is the internet only for the highlights?
I don't know what the internet's for.
The internet only for the highlights.
The internet's for whatever the fuck you want.
Oh my bad.
Social
media only for the
highlights. I like that word though. Highlighters is a new term we're gonna have to use for something.
Highlight.
But like, I mean, is it like? Because like when Facebook first came out, it wasn't all about just highlights. Because Twitter and Facebook, like Twitter was like a stream of consciousness. I remember being on the toilet and shit tweeting.
All right, we're saying social media, so
it's like Twitter wasn't always just highlights.
Twitter was niggas' diary for no reason, boy.
Yeah, like so, like it's. I don't think it always is just for highlights. I think that's what Instagram is, but like all social medias aren't set up like that.
I think Instagram and Facebook are highlight based.
Definitely, for sure.
And I would say, yes, Snapchat, they kind of still be highlighting. They just highlight.
Snap's a little highlighty.
But Twitter
you gotta watch out for Snapchat too. Bro.
Twitter is like that's why I couldn't get with Twitter. I couldn't be a good Twitter person. It just take too much. Like you'll see a person, they like daily they tweet 100 times. And I'll be like, what the fuck?
Like how?
What? But they like tweeting everywhere they go, everything they do, just different little streams of consciousness.
And they don't even take that long. Like that's the thing. You think like a motherfucker correct, and they just
yep.
And that's how it happens.
Like you be with somebody, they done let off 25 tweets,
and you ain't like,
and you got like I had to go back and like, all right, where I was with this nigga from here to here. Let me make sure his motherfucker.
What was he talking about?
Are they still calling it tweets now that it's X? Or is
I'm sure they have like a different word. I don't know what the word is.
Xing. I'm about to X. Like, what that mean?
That nigga X me.
Let's see. What are two things that is a killer of relationships today is the fact that women want to do exactly what men want to do, then want you to treat them like a woman, and they can act like men.
Well, he said those are two things right there.
Yeah.
And they was what?
Women want to do exactly what men want to do, and they want you to treat them like a woman, and they can act like men.
So never
mind. A better question: do we manipulate victims of a weather catastrophic event to prey on their fears of the other to convince them to vote against their own interests in the social safety net?
Hey,
we
ain't got there yet.
Hey, you too loud in the chat. Like,
yeah, we gonna get there.
Chat loud.
We gonna get there.
Tone, she was probably lying. Bro was taking care of her, and now she just want to shit on his name. He talking about the example I was giving.
What was the example you gave?
I was talking about that interracial couple. I don't know if you've seen it, where the whole time like a whole bunch of people thought it was.
Oh, like, isn't that what the Kelsey dude was?
Maybe that's I don't
know Travis Kelsey.
It was
in his and the black girl that he was with before.
And
Taylor
then
Swift.
she came out and said she was paying for everything. Yeah. I don't know what happened with that situation or how.
Well, he would Taylor Swift now.
Yeah. Oh, so that's what that was about.
Yeah.
She came out later after the fact because she just did this was a few weeks ago. I know.
Oh no, this was it was like a couple months ago.
Oh, either way, I know this. Yeah. This is still recent after with Taylor Swift. I'm like, for what? Like, if that's
it's because then people talk. What is it? Oh shit, we never did touch on this with the Andrew Schultz thing. Are y'all familiar with the whole thing that happened with Andrew Schultz?
No.
Where the Shits and Gigs dudes came on his podcast, and I wasn't mad at Andrew Schultz only because like I watched enough Andrew Schultz to where like I understand his humor, and so Andrew Schultz just kind of like jabs and shits. Not like he makes jokes about everybody, like literally everybody. But he had a black woman comment that set the internet on blaze. Where I don't know if y'all are familiar with Shits and Gigs. They're the biggest black YouTubers from UK, and they were doing like an American tour. So they did like the Horrible Decisions. They did the I don't think they did Joe Button, but they did their like Flagrant and Brilliant Idiots and things like that.
No, okay. Yeah.
Like they did the black run of podcast, and I think it was on a podcast tour as well. And they made it. He was making a joke. Well, somehow they stumbled on the whole black woman makeover that they'd be talking about. Is that the term that they say? Like the whole black woman makeover, where like when she get with a white dude.
Are you talking about the black wife effect?
There it goes.
The black wife effect.
Yeah, that's what it is. The black wife effect. And Schultz was like making a joke. Well, like they grow their beard out because of like, you know, like she gonna hit him or some shit like that or something like that. Like playing on the tropes and things. And they ended up kind of getting in trouble for that whole thing. How do we land here? What was the question before here? It was something that I was connecting this to.
I'm trying to remember because I just went in a totally different place too.
It was Shits and Gigs, Andrews, Schultz.
But before that, it was whatever the thing was. Something triggered this in my brain.
Yeah, and I done moved on. I done lost train of thought. I was sitting there looking at something
else. Nonetheless, that was the tangent.
So what you got for us, Tone?
Yeah, it's on you, Tone.
Oh yeah,
let's just throw that to Tone, right?
That's a good time.
Usually one of like every four of us, one of us to remember.
I lost train of thought. I was sitting there looking at the next thing.
I started explaining shits and gigs and Andrew Schultz.
I kept on wanting to say shits and giggles, so I kept on like my brain was like,
oh, it got stuck.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was trying not to just go Kamala this week because I'm like they keep showing me Kamala stuff on my timeline. I'm gonna actually start off with one from last week though. That's not her. So this Charleston White.
Most women, because he broke her vows, she still maintained hers. It wasn't about that he was still taking care of, because most men came home and gave the woman all the money.
Yeah,
he kept enough to drink and cheat with, and gave her all the money so she could pay the bills.
Facts.
Most men in that time didn't pay bills. He gave her the money and she paid the bills. She went grocery shopping,
but it's not her money.
But this what it was about. I took a vow before God, and this vow is a covenant. I'm not breaking this covenant because my husband cheated. She wanted to maintain her dignity, even though her husband didn't. She wanted to maintain her vows. Her pride came and saying, I never broke my vows. He did.
Tell him, OG, tell him.
Today's women want to get even.
Preach.
The women before you didn't want to get even. She got even by not doing wrong to you. And in the process, you felt horrible as a man.
Facts.
You stopped cheating. You stopped lying. You started confessing your wrongs to this woman because you saw her do no wrong. That's how you beat the man. That's how you beat him. You can't beat him. You can't beat him getting even with him. You'll lose because nobody shames a man for being a whore, but they'll shame you.
All right, Tone. Give me where you're landing at on that.
I don't remember where I was landing. I know I don't totally agree with him. That's my whole thing.
Yeah, but I
was trying to just click something that I had in there. I don't know where I agree.
Okay, all right. I was trying to understand what his battlefield was about to land.
Oh no.
So I guess I didn't specifically. I don't know. I just think that those are like weird terms. It's not like he's making an argument for men to do better as much as like women, y'all shouldn't have stopped getting shitted on and not doing nothing. In which I don't know. Like I just think that hey, let's all not shit on each other and let's not cheat and do derogatory things. And like, am I going to judge somebody overly because of they just respond? No. Go around. If you go that way then, Johnny. But yeah, nothing derogatory. My bad, y'all. Listen, this is a live production and we tend to have fun. But derogatory Charleston White, what was that?
I'll say I don't think that he should like as
most
far as,
women
because really, I guess more of the question is, do you think that will like his thing that he's talking about work today? Old head.
No, I don't think that it work at all. I think that I think that just leads to more. You know what that leads to? Cardi B and Offset. Offset kept cheating on her because she kept taking him back. As soon as she got her lick back, he was on the internet hollering like a motherfucker.
And I think that could. Do you think that could be because, like, in his situation, the grandma wouldn't like, like he talking about your grandma or whatever. In the scenario he's talking about, they was getting money from the grandpa, or whatever.
Yeah,
you want to word it. They was getting money from him, and so they didn't mind. This is the same point Old Head was talking about the other week on the other show. Like as far as if you got money, then pretty much it's okay to cheat.
Oh yeah. Old Head, he be heavy on it. What is it? Let's talk. What's real? What's the show?
Who you talking to?
Who you talking to? There we go. Yeah. Make sure y'all check out who you talking to. I do remember this conversation. He Old Head Senior is a Corey Holcombite, in which yes, he believes that get them a little distraught to where they need them dollars that you have, and as long if you do that, you can do what the fuck you want to with them. And like that
said, bro. Don't do
no, that's Corey Holcomb, and he tells you how he is a Corey Holcomb fan, and he agrees with 100% of what Corey Holcomb says. He says it like his is not even 100% more eloquent. He just says it a little bit better than Corey does. But that is the general notion, is that the more that a woman needs you, the more you can do.
That's a dangerous place, because that's how, like, because that's toxic. And
yes.
And
old niggas was toxic and it was tricking.
But like once that lady figure out that you trying to keep her down, because and like women got way more power now. She can level up. Like it's hard to keep a woman down now. So trying that is gonna get you bad results.
Well, that's why Charleston White was advocating for women to stop getting their get back, not to get your lick back. Just go sit in the corner and cry like your grandma did.
Well, not even you get back, but just go be better. Like women, like oh no, trying to keep a woman down is only gonna like cause you probably stress and drama. It don't seem like that sounds tough.
Yeah, I don't know. Tom, what was your takeaway from there?
I mean, like I thought it was an interesting view as far. I don't remember exactly why I put that in the group in the first place. Really, I was trying to get past because Johnny was going to the bathroom.
Okay.
We can move on to the next thing.
Okay.
Yeah. This was actually Kamala talking about her economic plan this week. So I'm just gonna.
Was this on when she was on All the Smoke?
I don't know what show this was.
Okay.
So you can tell me if you recognize it. I don't know.
Okay.
Company, what is your kind of your economic plan moving forward for people who are living paycheck to paycheck and struggling for groceries and rent and homeowners?
So look, I grew up. So my sister and I were raised by our mother. We lived for a long time in an apartment on top of a child care center. That child care center was actually owned by a woman who lived 2 doors down from us, Mrs. Shelton, who was, by all of our accounts and feelings, our second mother. She helped raise us. And so she was a small business owner. So I'll start with the small business, and congratulations on what you guys have done. I, from a child, knew who our small business owners are, right? I mean, you're business leaders, but you're also civic leaders. You take seriously your voice and how you can mentor, how you can grow, right? Communities and the sense of communities. I love our small businesses. And so a lot of my work in terms of building and growing the economy has focused on small businesses. And my vision overall is we need to build an opportunity economy in which we increase opportunity for all, including small business owners. So a lot of my work, even in the Senate, was about increasing access to capital through our small businesses, and in particular through our community banks. Mm-hmm. So I've been responsible for billions of dollars more now going into our community banks, because they're in the community and then they know who's in the community.
Company, what is your kind of your economic plan moving forward?
Yeah, but all right. So I did watch that whole interview. She does go into, and she goes down. In essence, her economic plan is the middle class tax incentive. I mean, tax break. It's the small business thing that she's doing for $25K. No, that's not $25K. It's the small business tax. It's interest. It's interest with small business. When it comes down to how much, or if it even is interest on a loan or whatnot. So nonetheless, it's like a low interest type of scenario. It's small business, it's tax. There is homeowner, the home owner.
Child care.
I was gonna go to that next. There's the homeowner thing, in which like 25 to new homeowners. And then she's pushing for, I don't know, I think she said like some big number, like 1 million of homes, which should bring down the price of housing in general, because of, I think she's trying to do the whole supply and demand. So she's trying to increase supply, so the demand goes down and the price goes down. And then there is the $9,000 child care tax credit. Or is it 6,000? It's one of those two things. She does go on to like list those things out.
They were setting her up pretty much, basically.
This was a softball interview or whatnot. Like she's annoying in the fact that she does she has to start off like a politician.
Yeah, that's the thing that gets me.
I did live right under that child care. And I know
like,
my thought. I know my small business.
And all of us refer to her as our second mother.
Yeah,
come on, just
but
tell us.
I'll also say in her defense, like at the end of the long-windedness, she did like list out the thing before being like pseudo relatable.
Yeah, and even then, I give her credit because I did hear it starting to get to a point where it's like I looked at it and I was like, the first time I'm like, bro, get to the point. Like I didn't see a point, but I will give it to her that she was getting to a point there and they cut it off early. So I give her credit on that one. Okay, this was another interesting one. This one isn't so much about, he does say something about Kamala, but it's not so much about her than something else that I was paying attention to that I thought was interesting.
Black families were excluded from buying homes.
We have been crammed into ghettos.
They put us in the hood.
They put us in the hood. When the white folks took us out of slavery, they put us in the hood. Who put us in the hood?
You put us in the ghetto together.
Put us in the ghetto. They put us in the ghetto and put us at the bottom.
The history of Black families being excluded from home ownership.
I have a book back here where it shows very beautiful houses built by Black hands in Black neighborhoods in 1910. This book was written by Booker T. Washington in 1912, and he's documenting Black neighborhoods and Black suburban communities springing up all across the South. Were these folks crammed in ghettos? Can we be real for one moment here? To the extent that an adult human being is crammed into this place or the other, it's because they chose to do that. In 1940, there were more Blacks living in rural and suburban communities than in urban cities and government housing projects. To the extent that you did have Blacks migrating to these urban areas, it was due in part to marketing that was being circulated by communist propagandists in newspapers like the Pittsburgh Courier or the Daily Worker that were promising union jobs and higher wages in the North. And many of the Blacks would go on to admit that instead of finding jobs, all they found were breadlines.
Louisiana, the only thing you have to say yes or no, sir, back there. But I'd rather say yes and no and live comfortable than to live in the slums and you can say yes and no.
The point here is that if it is true that a person is crammed into a slum, it is only after they have personally made the decision to fall for the socialist programs that are being pushed by politicians and activists. You cannot expect luxury when you subordinate yourself to a government project. Let that be a lesson to you when you listen to all the grandiose promises that Kamala Harris is making.
Black families were excluded from buying.
Yeah, I didn't want to focus on Kamala on that one.
Bro's on some bullshit. Because he acted like the KKK wasn't a thing, and he acted like it wasn't like racial insurrections. They wasn't hanging motherfuckers back in the 1920s. And like the people left under duress. They didn't just choose. Like they thought they had a better option, but it wasn't just like it was all hunky. Like to say you had to say yes sir and no sir, and that's all.
But he also used slippery language as well. He used the word rural and suburban synonymous as well, and even in that's so slippery because all that means is country folk, like people that live outside of the city and not being inside, like quote unquote, the projects or the ghetto XYZ. That doesn't mean that doesn't denote a income status. That doesn't talk about like how much money that your family brought in and what was your standard of living. And I think that was the thing that he also was kind of skirting around inside that conversation where. Yes, there were in 1940, there were way more rural Blacks. It wasn't like well-paid rural Blacks. You can just go back to like labors and statistics and look at that to see where no, there weren't as I don't know. I don't even have the stats to be able to like quantify or qualify. If it was more Blacks today in like in rural or I guess slum project housing XYZ, because I don't even know if that's like where predominantly the majority of Black people live at today either. But even if we denote if it's true, I think that what it's like what you would I imagine you really want to get at when you're like posing this question is, and that's why he showed like the slaves building, not slaves, the people in the 1910s.
Those are the Masons, yeah.
Building like I guess it looked like a big house. He noted that it was like a suburban brick house inside of Black suburbia or whatnot. Is that you're trying to note that it was Black people doing extremely well from the 1910s and through the 1940s, where like labor and statistics kind of show you that those would be outliers if there was any like rich Black neighborhoods. The majority of people inside rural housing were like farm workers. They were what's the name of the things that they like when like it was almost like an indentured servitude thing that you did after you got out of slavery. Sharecropping. Yeah, like you had sharecropping. Like that was huge if you inside Alabama, Mississippi, deep South. It wasn't like any version of what this person was like, this guy was specifically trying to paint it out to.
And then he also failed to mention, like, on a lot of his tone.
Oh, dang.
But like he also failed to mention, like, on a lot of this, it's like black people had a lot of land. Like even in like the state of North Carolina, there was black people that were run out of like well-to-do like industries. Like you go up to like Cannon Mills and like the Concord, Kannapolis area. That those black people that owned that area and that had their community, they were ran out after the Wilmington insurrection. You could even talk about like Oscarville and Lake Lanier, how that was a black community and they flooded the land. Even up here in Lake Norman, there's a black community up under that water. So these people were, it's not like they chose like to leave. Like there was a systematic oppression that was put in place to displace these people, and it was terrorism. It was American terrorism, and that's the reason they left. And like I think that's a super unfair kind of summarization of
so
history.
like I didn't necessarily agree with his whole point, but there were certain things that he said that stuck out to me. We get this convoluted version of history where we're just told like pretty much like we was just pushed, and people don't understand that there was paperwork and there was different things that was done to trick us out of our position. That's more so what I was looking at. Even with the history, like I actually agree with y'all as far as like this was done purposefully. This was like done to put us in a different position. But the part that I actually agree with what he was saying was talking about like being tricked out of stuff, listening to people through like you get these words and this rhetoric. Because if you start looking into history, a lot of the people who did have these houses and all of this stuff, majority of them was tricked through paperwork, bro.
But I think maybe what he is saying, and I think to kind of build on your point, what may be a better kind of assumption or reasoning to it would be both of the systems were working together. It wasn't just a white supremacy that operated differently than the white supremacy in the North. I think it was one system and the same rules that, I mean, it wasn't the same exact rules, but it was a system of oppression in the North too. And it was designed to keep us from regaining some of the land and stuff that we had in the South. So I think that was part of the plan, you know, and to say that people just fail for it, like it's just a one-sided thing.
Well, I don't think it's a one-sided thing. I think more so what I wanted to end up doing was drawing a comparison to like the events of today. Do you think that we're still being tricked out of a position or tricking ourselves out of position in any ways, like similar to what's going on here?
Well, I think today it's more so truly tricking because we don't have like the same pressures that those previous generations had. They ain't coming lynching us and like hanging us and doing all that stuff the way they were. So I think the way they're doing it now is truly through propaganda, and it's truly actually tricking us to not do the things that are best for us. Where back then they weren't tricking us, they were just telling us to get the fuck out the way. And it was just,
oh no, they was tricking that we was signing paperwork. This is like and Dane Calloway, if you look up Dane Calloway on YouTube, he does a lot of information.
Dane Calloway's
but to say somebody is tricked when there's pressure to say, I don't think that's tricked. Like
that makes sense.
Like that's what I'm saying. Like it wasn't like it was just nothing going on here. Like it was
sign this paper, or
if you sign paper with a gun to your head, did you that's why I don't like to say trick, because it was like real shit going on. Where to now we're doing it, we're being tricked because we ain't got to deal with that shit the way they did, and so we're not doing the things that's best for us. It's hard to blame anything else other than us at this point.
All right, that's really all I got. I actually like that conversation. It's not a lot of conversation. You actually helped me change my mind a little bit in it. I like when we have conversations like that. I like to see some different views.
All right, so does that lead us to our questions?
I think it's a good time to go into it.
All right, cool. Was there any comments we need to hit before we rock paper scissors?
Let's see.
Hey, shut up.
I want to know.
Oh yeah, I can guarantee you that any person that is listening to this that is younger than the age of 40. Their lady has had more sex partners than they have if they are male. I forgot what the topic was. That was the before topic.
He said if you're under 40, that means your girl got more bodies than you. Is that what you saying?
I think as a guy, you're probably going outside if that is true. I don't.
Oh no, that probably is true.
You think
it
so?
should not be true.
Yeah, but as I'm saying, like if you
According
just
to
was
Real.
No, I just think that if you were a healthy young black man that had a good 20s and early 30s, that shouldn't be true.
All right.
Now women do have options. Like I mean, if
oh no, they do.
If she got you beat, you should probably chill.
Yeah. Well, I also think that that's when discernment is, where like we listen. We was just let me see how I can frame this to where this is politically correct. We were all at a function together, and we knew who the person was that might have had more than us. If you understand what I'm saying. But like we all know that. Like we all talked about our fascination earlier that we have had over time with the pros. And
pros. I'm trying to think about which function he was talking about.
I'm talking about the wedding.
I'm trying to figure out if it's the person who I think it is.
It shouldn't have been hard.
It ain't hard. It's only one person I can think
of.
It
ain't hard to tell. But yeah. But yeah, nah. Like even the kickbacks that we have here, like it's easy to tell like the ones that's on go and the ones that's not. Or that have like certain character traits, and there's certain discernment inside in choosing that also shit a lot for that. But yeah. I think that's my piece on that.
Okay. He failed to say that we was ran out of the suburbs.
Thank you.
Black people put their own shows where they are at, impartial of them letting niggas take over their neighborhood.
Own selves, probably.
And with them wanting to move out of these neighborhoods, leave it to the niggas for birth.
All right, read that one more time.
Black people put their own shows where they are at, impartial
own selves.
Okay. Own selves where they are at, impartial of them letting niggas take over their neighborhood, and with them wanting to move out of these neighborhoods, leave it to the niggas for birth. Maybe you can make that.
That sounds like a shot at somebody.
Yeah, I don't specifically understand that, but I'm sure he'll rewrite kind of what he means.
I'm speaking to all of y'all. Yes, you too, Johnny LO. I'll just being honest. Shoot, my lady ain't got more sex partners than me.
Yeah, nah, me neither. But I was but this is the thing is that
I ain't asked
it's
but yeah,
it's like sure. It's not like an important thing. Like only people that brag on how many partners that they have are the ones that are insecure about how many partners that they have. And like that ends up being like its own thing. But I think that if you have been, like I said, a healthy young male that had a really good 20s and 30s, most guys ain't even really like worried about like a woman's body count. You just worried about your discernment with that woman.
Yeah, and honestly, like, yeah, it's to the point where now like niggas be like kind of ashamed of like ready, like I've lied on my dick backwards. Like I've like took bodies off. Like, I ain't do nothing with that girl. Like,
he clarified his last point. He said, black people sold their homes when they got money, then moved to the suburbs and left the neighborhood for niggas to run it.
Is that a hard R on that?
Yeah, that's a niggar. I'm like a cigar, bro. Nigars, bro.
Make sure you put it up so the people can see it.
Oh yeah, I'll put it back
up. Hey y'all, chat. We got a couple of y'all in here. Make sure that y'all comment, talk to us, give us some feedback. But nonetheless, I guess it's time for to hit this rock, paper, scissors.
Yep.
Got this 2 in a row. Rail, you've been holding me down, my boy. I just needed you to leave for me to get my swag back.
Holding you back, bro.
Yeah, holding me back, bro. John, matter of fact, I'll go through mine, and then I feel like yours might land a little bit longer, so I'll leave the time in the back end for you. Where all right, so mine's it was triggered a little bit by Saturday morning. I was sitting on the couch. Was on the couch? Yeah, I think me and QJ was down here on the couch. Was just chilling. the door. I open it up, and it's this black lady. She said,
"Are you registered to vote?"
She had the Kamala thing, and she asked me. She said, "Are you registered to vote? Do you know who you're voting for?" And here's the Kamala Harris. Da, 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 da. And me being me, and my need to want to talk sometimes. So like we went down the lane, and so I told her that yes, I'm registered to vote. Previously, in the past few elections, I have voted Green Party, and right now I am currently an undecided voter. And so then our conversation, and shout out to her, she was actually a cooler, older black lady. Even though she was working for like specifically the Democratic Party, like so she asked me, she asked, so what are some policies that you're for with Jill Stein? Well, what I told her, I initially said that like, so for all of them right now, I have pretty much notes on the things that I agree with and disagree with all three of them. And she asked me like, okay, so well with Jill Stein, what are some things that you agree with, disagree with? So then I went down that. Then I went down with Kamala Harris, and then I went down with Trump or whatnot. And there was a lot of like respect and reciprocity in the conversation because of I actually could name out and speak through exactly how I felt, what I felt, and why I felt the things in general. And I just took it as a compliment. She said, "You remind me of my son and kind of like the conversations that I have with him, XYZ. And where you're standing at, I respect it. And you know what I mean? Like we said, our casualties, and then she kind of walked away. And it left me as I kind of like sat and reflect on the conversation when I thought the conversation was cool, just because it's shit that I like to talk about. But the second part was it that how much of the current electorate, and I guess we're black here, so like if we want to like silo it into the conversation of being black, or if we want to broaden it out in general to the full electorate as it stands, are actually informed on why they're voting for this person, that person, if they understand the pros and cons of each candidate that they're voting for, and if they can explain, again, like inside a good faith version, what their opposing opponent is actually running on, and what they really is trying to push, and why people have like a certain appeal to them. I personally, inside the conversations that I've not recently, but just over like time, when I start introducing like the unpacks and all these different like conversations that I start having, I have like started to believe that we are possibly one of the most uneducated electorates that exist. And I think that we as a people move so much off of virality, off of like sensational stories and statements, and not off of actual things that will possibly impact you. And even in that, I don't think that most people have a high school civic level of understanding of how the government works, how the president is not the king of the land, how laws pass, how voting actually works, all the way down to what are the policies that your candidate will actually be doing that will benefit you or people that look like you. So fellas, I guess I'll toss it up into the air and I'll ask the question, are we the most uninformed electoral block or election block?
I mean, there are a lot of uninformed people out there, of course. But I think we make a lot of our decisions, I don't think based off a lack of knowledge, but it's the emotional pull that gets a lot of people. And I don't think people realize how much their votes are.
Do you think that your average black person can articulate how any of Trump's policies could possibly benefit them?
The average, probably no. I think no. I think there's, like I said, I think there's a lot of uneducated people out there, of course. But so yes, I agree. But I think the problem with that is the people are, instead of looking for information, people are looking for an emotional test. They're looking for an emotional reason to vote for a candidate. I don't think they're going out looking for policies and stuff. So I think it's like it's super like emotional based. And I think, like, I even had a question a couple weeks ago: is it character or principles or policies that matter most? And most people don't want to vote for the typical candidate they're supposed to vote for, not because they don't know it might be better, it's because a lot of things I feel like they're afraid to do something different than the masses. I think a lot of people know that, you know, the Democrat thing might not be the right way, but it's a black woman, and I want to support black women. And I think that's the part that gets a lot of people. I can't vote against a black woman, not in this election cycle. I just got to go with my people. And I don't know if that's uninformed or just a emotion-based response, but I think that's what happens a lot of times. Because the information is easy to get. You just choose not to get it. And
I would definitely say, we are more informed, but I think instead of uninformed, the word needs to be ill-informed. And what I mean by that, misinformed, ill-informed, even though it's like where people are informing what they just informing themselves of what they want to hear, more so than actually like seeking out information. I'm trying to figure out if go ahead and give yours. I'm still thinking
about like instead of getting like objective knowledge, you go into the propaganda that's
you go into whatever it fits your opinion.
Right.
Like, so it's like, and it might be true or whatever, but and it might not be, but it's like you're not looking at, I think, actual information. You really studying both sides of things. Like for politics, for example. And this is my motto on everything. If I'm studying something, I want to look at the opinion of the person, of the people who don't agree with me, and I want to look at the opinion of the people who do agree with what I initially think or anything like that. It's like I'm constantly looking to see like what is the opposite side and what ideas do they have, and do I find is this true? Like if I'm looking at this, is this true? Like a lot of people don't do that. They hear stuff, like you get a lot of information or whatever, but some of it is like you getting parts of truth, or you getting like, that's what
that's why for me, I start a lot of my research process is based off debates, in which like I try and find like good debates where it's like two articulate people that can argue their side points, and then I could start looking up the different little points that they're saying. And like usually there's two versions of debates, and there's two versions of how debates are won. There's debates that are won off of facts, and then debates that's won off of charisma. But if you're to be informed in general, I think that you have to be able to discern both of the two, and understand what you're choosing at that moment.
I also think something that's important to that point is like you can know the policies, and I think it's good to like list them out. But like one thing I've seen over like having voted for years is we see the promises, and a lot of times, even if you're informed, you can be misled by promises that aren't actually realistic. And I think that's something to be thought about too. I can make all these promises, but it's like how realistic are a lot of the policies. And I think with, like you say, without like
that comes down to, you about to go through it.
Like a basic civic knowledge of like how the government works, you can just know a bunch of stuff and not even understand how that's gonna come to fruition.
Like there's a part where like you have to judge a piece of a president on like, did they control the Congress or not,
or like were they able to pass any of the things, even if they wanted to.
And then understanding how bipartisan bill passage happens,
right?
Where there's like, if you want to pass something, you're gonna have to throw some of their shit in there too. It's just naturally how it's
not gonna
work.
Bulldog nothing in our government. It's just about compromise.
Yes.
And it seems like compromise, we're so far away from compromise in politics to where it's like how is any of this supposed to work if the basic foundation of what makes us such a good country is like almost absent in like every aspect of politics.
Gotcha. So I guess I'll start with me, and I'll throw out like some of my pros and cons. This is what I told the lady. I love to hear some of y'all's. So for me, as I start running them down, I start with the Green Party. I know with Jill Stein, I do think that there's good inside the value that she is pro reparations and having that conversation started, i.e., everything that happened inside California. I am for her like free healthcare, like her overall healthcare plan in general. That's cool. I'm with that. I am also with a part of her foreign policy, especially as it pertains to Gaza and Israel, and trying to make sure that we just end it in that shit. And that shit's almost snowballing itself into World War III currently right now. They're in Lebanon, they attack, like it's a lot of shit happening where it don't take but like 2 more chips to fall to where we in World War III. Time to go ahead and get up out of there. We need to end that shit ASAP-ish. I also do think that there's a possibility that she could be a Russian puppet, and that some of that funding is coming from overseas. She's been sitting at she has sat at tables with Putin. She's been at fundraisers with Putin, in which like there's a space where she does primarily fight with the Democratic Party. It's not as much smoke with the Republicans. And like I understand their ideology when it comes down to it, but it's just something that I've noted. With Kamala, I functions with her. I like a lot of her economic plan. If it was to come to fruition in general and be positive. I have also looked at economists speak about how whether it's the housing, it will end up like bringing up prices and bring up just the cost of housing. But that's neither here nor there. Like if I just speak about, do I think that it could be positive for first time home buyers, 25K? Yes. Do I think that building more houses could be positive? Yes. Do I think that the child care tax credit could be positive? Yes. Do I think the small business interest-free loans could be positive? Yes, for sure. I don't fuck with her policy when it comes down to the border. I don't like how America runs the border right now. I don't like the idea of like all of our money going to, well, not all of our money, but the way we have sanctuary cities and right to shelter states set up in America. I think that those are horrible. And the fact that we have to give these migrants money when it comes down to the way that the system is set up, as long as they make it across the border. They're almost incentivized to not do the thing the right way, because if you just do it wrong and then just show up at the find somebody to arrest you, you get all the benefits to it. It doesn't make any sense. So I am against that. With Trump, I actually rock with Trump's border policy. I like Trump's border policy. And if the border policy, I do think the migrants do mess with, it does impact Black communities first in general. Black and brown, but primarily Black, and they ship all the migrants to Black cities with Black mayors. That is what it is. Whether you want to say DC, whether you want to say New York, whether you want to say Chicago, we could run down the line, but they're all Black cities with Black mayors, and they end up finding their way into Black communities, to where I think that there is a space where they all do hit, and it matters.
Did you hear about what's like while you're on that subject? Did you hear about what's happening in New York with the immigrants being, or the migrants being, man, I can't think of the evicted.
Not yet. Nah, I haven't heard that.
Yeah, so that's starting to be a thing. So they have a whole bunch of migrants that came over, and now they're evicting them from the apartments. So it's like they brought them over to make them homeless, and then homelessness is about to be illegal soon.
Well, in New York, that's the right to shelter thing.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where like between that's where they get the double, like what is it, intersectionality? They got like 3 checks in the box.
Yeah.
And Trump's negatives, I'm not for the tariff shit. I don't see how that actually could make sense inside like a long play and not just drive up inflation even more. And yeah, I mean, like everything else has like different little nuances. But to me right now, that's where I stand. And I love another debate to where I can continue to hear more and hear them go back and forth and debate policy. Johnny, what's yours?
I mean, yeah, you said a lot of good stuff. I mean, I kind of agree with you on like maybe like 90% of that. I don't know about the Jill Stein Russian thing. I'd have to look a little more into that. I'm also a little wary of her. I know the reparations ain't gonna happen, but I do like the fact that she willing to at least put it out there. To me, that's a start. But I mean, actually, like over the past couple weeks, I've been leaning a little more towards Kamala as far as like a lot of the economic plan and stuff. That's stuff that is going to affect me way sooner than like Trump's tax plan and the tariffs and stuff. The border is the part where was even thinking about rocking with Trump, but after no, I feel like Kamala has been a little better fit for me recently, but I'm still undecided. I'm still working on my cons to like why I wouldn't. I'm just really looking for reasons why I would vote for people. I haven't really crossed nobody out yet as far as this is a policy that's going to keep me from voting for anybody. So that's kind of, where I'm at. I'm still deciding. Luckily, we got about another month or so, but nobody's done anything that would tell me I can't vote for this person at this point. I'm still trying to figure out the pros.
Man, I have some thoughts on this, but I may still be a little biased to a degree, and like I'm aware of that. So it's like I'm trying to make sure that I'm not being biased. But I pretty much totally don't trust Kamala. I don't have all of the reasons together to tell you why I don't. But it's a lot of stuff that she says where it's like, like I don't know if y'all ever just like you recognize a liar, but I get that feeling from her. That's like, and even with
I get. Let me ask you this: is there a politician running right now that you don't recognize a liar?
Okay, so that's the thing. I reckon, yeah, I don't like. It's like it's a thing with all politicians. They all lie. So it's like, yeah, more so what I'm looking at right now, I guess I would say is the proof in the pudding is a lot of what I'm thinking about. Like, and even though Kamala isn't in charge of the United States right now, she's still a part of that administration. So part of what I'm looking at is what is it y'all said y'all was going to do versus what did you do? Like, and even with Trump, I'm looking at that the same way. As far as like the other parties, I do think this is a very important time. Like normally I don't listen to this propaganda. I'm like, vote for whoever you want. I would normally vote probably third party. The reason I'm not doing that this time, and I've decided to not do that, is because I do believe that this is one of those elections where whatever decision we make is going to have a major impact.
Oh damn! They didn't got Tone.
Yeah, I'm not about to get into
got him.
Yeah, who's the bigger liar?
Got him. No, I'm saying it in the sense of that this is a make or break election. I personally don't.
Tone sounds scared.
I personally don't ever believe that any election is like specifically a make or break.
The election is not going to be what make or breaks the country.
Yeah, it's not my I guess my personal takeaway.
I don't normally believe that either, but I do feel like this is an important one. Like I do think this is going to be important. I think there's going to be a drastic change that we're going to see depending on who the president is. I don't necessarily know what type of times that we're going into. I do think
my issue is that we done seen both of them. To me, like America done been close to the same under both of them.
Yeah.
And so it's like, yeah, I mean, what's like now if it's
only difference has been like the post-COVID inflation. Mm-hmm. That's kind of been the biggest like difference, and they argue about who caused it. Like that's the biggest difference that we've seen between both of them. In my opinion, like I'm not scared of either one of them, and if either one of them
I
get
would
elected,
agree with that. I'm not scared of either one at this point.
And so to me, I primarily base my decision first off of would it be beneficial for me. Second, the people around me that look like me. That's kind of how I base it off of, and that's why, like I said, I'm only looking at the policies that deal with things that I care about, and it'd be a lot of shit that they be talking about that I don't even care about.
And that's kind of where I'm at. The biggest thing I care about this time around is illegal immigration. I think that's going to affect Black people in a way that we can't recover from. Like if this persists in the way that it's been going.
But what if Kamala's economic plan benefits you more as a small business owner?
I mean, and that's another thing I'm going to have to look into. But I also think like, okay, so take for instance her tax plan and everything. as far as like taxing the rich. And people is talking about this is only going to be the people with $100 million. But if you really start looking at who owns stuff and how that's going to work, Ma, they just released, I know you're talking about the 2025 plan. The guy just endorsed her this week that wrote it. He just endorsed Kamala. So I don't know whose plan it is. But the guy who wrote it just endorsed Kamala this week.
I don't want to talk about.
Yeah, I don't even want to get into that.
Project like one. Yeah, we don't have to get.
Yeah, I don't want to get into that. Like, and I'm.
Like, it's not running away from the conversation. I just don't know how fruitful the conversation is. One, there's been a Project 20, and then like list a year, and it always happens. And also, I'm also not mad at the Republicans for having a best case scenario plan book that their think tank has thought of for, like, if we can get everybody in place in Congress, president, and I mean, it's pretty much the Supreme Court is kind of like primarily Republican right now, to where we can do everything we want. I'm more mad at the fact that not black people, the Democrats don't have a version of Project 2025. Where if everything goes the way that they want to, if they was able to control the House, the Senate, the presidency, what would y'all do with 2/3? What would you do? And if you don't have a plan to tell me what you would do, then it just sounds like you about to start freestyling shit.
Yeah, and I think
my bad. Hold on. The reality is also we've seen Trump with a majority House, like a majority Congress, and him. And them niggas was still fighting, and they didn't even build the wall like that. Like it, I don't fucking know. Like what? Why do you care about some shit that is like fodder to fear about? That like I don't fear none of this shit. I don't fear none of these niggas. Ain't nothing that like you can't drive me off a fear tactic.
Well, and here's the thing too. Like and we got to be honest about this as a country, as a people. Like if us as Americans don't let it get to where this is the election that's gonna make or break the country already fucked up. It's already out of. If this is what it comes to, it's already too late. Like we already down 14 with 50-something seconds left in the fourth. It's a wrap. So I don't think it's what it comes to, because I have a little more faith in the country. I feel like this is just part of the plan. I mean,
Jill Stein could be Shador Sanders,
Travis Hunter. she gonna play both sides of the ball. See what I did there. But so unless she wins, now if she wins, I think it's gonna be some different shit that happened, but I don't anticipate that. I think it's either gonna be red or blue, and I think it's gonna be the same status quo that we've been getting under red and blue for the last how many ever years. So I think they're both bought out and they both run by the corporation.
This goes to like the last part of when I say uninformed, not understanding general politics as it works, is that like there's also a space, and this is where I think on Wednesday we'll probably get into a little bit, like the idea of a corporatocracy, in which there's a good chances that that's what we live under anyway. And if not a corporatocracy, there is a deep state bureaucracy to think about as well, where most people don't really understand. Johnny talks about this often, lobbyists, and how corporate interests run the decisions that get made in America. The people that fund the most elections ends up being, and shout out to BlackRock, because them niggas own most of them.
Them and Vanguard, they own like everything.
And McClaskey Group.
Yeah, and the thing is that like sometimes we don't realize that these corporate interests that push the money to lobby, which just means that they're paying off the politicians to vote inside or write bills inside the interest of them inside a very specific way, are a piece of what is running the country. We also forget about that there are, and this is when people start talking about the deep state. And when we get inside like these conversations, and sometimes they conspire all this shit, the deep state is no more than the collection of 3-letter organizations in which these people don't have to get elected, and they have tenured terms over an extended period of time. So you can see a president come leave, and you're still there.
CIA,
so,
FBI,
yeah, DEA. Like you can run down like the thing when Trump became popular,
DOJ.
saying like the drain the swamp. He was speaking about like the 3-letter organizations and where they was talking about putting term limits on them, and which it would allow because of like if you're going to be here, whether I'm here or not, and you have sway in the decisions that's getting made, like you kind of push the buttons a little bit more than me. And that's where like they start talking about pressure from the deep state and XYZ. These are also little nuances to make sure that we pay attention to that are way more than conspiracy. There is a reality to the concept that the head of the FBI, they can be there for as long as they want to. The CIA can be there as long as they want to. The DEA, the DOJ, like you can go down the line that they can and they impact on a large scale what is happening as well. Corporate interest, the deep state, as well as whether we want to get into the voting, whether we want to talk about presidents, whether we talk about like who's controlling Congress, that it's not like this simple game of if a nigga say something and he ain't do it, he ain't do it. Like it's so many things that are at play when we go into the concept and the conversation of politics in America.
And I'll add on to the deep state conversation because I think it's just because Trump wants to quote unquote drain the swamp doesn't mean that's changing over the system that's in place.
But he's for corporatocracy though.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's just he wants new corporatocracy. So he wants to get rid of these old guys because he ain't bought them out. They already bought out. And he want to put in his guys that are already
but the deep state and corporatocracy are different things in general.
Is that what he's for? I really want to know. Like I need to study that more.
Well, but Trump is for bigger business. Like he got mad when I think what was it like it was a golf tournament in which like the elites were supposed to be at like a very specific space. Maybe it was his hotel. In which like that's where the shaking hands and kissing babies happen.
Okay, so if he is for that, that's something I'm against. That's something I'm against. Like I think that's a problem. So I do.
Yeah, look at him. I think the owner of BlackRock is Finch. I want to say maybe it's Larry Finch. I have to do a little bit more digging, or I have to look at more things to kind of remember specific names. But I think it's Finch. But yeah, like him and Trump have a really good relationship. He's the one that moves. All right, so the crazy thing is you start looking up BlackRock. I don't know if y'all are familiar with BlackRock like that.
Yeah, they own everything.
But yeah, like so, like America is against like what's the word? Monopolies.
Mm-hmm.
But they have stake ownership inside the biggest players. And what do they call? Are they an asset broker or something like that?
Asset management
group. There we go. But they have high stakes inside pretty much the major players inside almost every industry
like everything.
In which like their vote can control what happens inside every single one of these different industries, to where it's hard to say that they don't have an actual monopoly on what happens business wise for a good portion of American business.
Is that the McClaskey group's another one?
I got to look them up.
That's just like that, but a lot of that COVID stuff and the doctors, a lot of them is dealing with like domestic like stuff as far as a lot of stuff you see in
my bad. That's the other thing. Is it the what is it? The military industrial complex. That's another thing that you have to take into account. There's different
that's
things
what BlackRock exploits a lot of.
Military.
I will say this. I think that another reason I think if Trump gets in office, people are going to scrutinize him more, and that's one of the things I do want to happen. Like that was one of the things I actually miss about like while he was in office, that there was so much scrutinization coming from our community because we was paying more attention. I don't want to keep letting stuff slide with these politicians. Like in the future, it's like beyond this election, we can't just keep letting stuff slide and keep staying in the same position. And I think that's very important. Like, I think like we pay more attention when it's somebody we don't like in office necessarily. Like, which is crazy to me, but like we don't pay no attention to what's going on necessarily when the Democrats are in office. Like everything got quiet. I would have loved if this administration was scrutinized as much as like there was constant scrutiny and everybody knew everything about what bills Trump was coming up with, What
Biden.
No, I'm talking about while Trump was in office. People ain't been paying attention to what Biden been doing.
Okay.
Like when Trump was in office, we knew about this stuff because we was worried about him trying to get over on our community, and we was staying on top of stuff. So that's one of the things I think was a good thing, because I feel like we was more involved. We let a lot of stuff slide, I think, with this this last administration, and especially being that the Black community is responsible for this last administration getting in office. Like there's a lot of stuff we let slide that, like, if this was Trump, we would have had more to say. So I do think that's a thing.
I'm not against that. Yeah, but nonetheless, that is the time for my subject. I feel like we kind of unpacked that a decent way.
Yeah, we did.
I guess before we segue into it, maybe this would be good. Tone, I see that you have it up. Sharon Young, she sends in a lot of memes weekly. I think it'd be fire to just play a random one. And then we can go to Johnny question.
All right.
Shout out to our loyal listeners.
First,
people that
mama of the pod.
Yeah, the people that tap in with us consistently.
Right,
Just
y'all
playing a quick one. I say just choose one randomly. Just don't do a man.
Don't, yeah, please. Yeah, I was gonna say just not
I
a
don't
man.
care nothing about a man.
Just not a man.
You can go to
anybody
any
but a man. I was gonna be tired as fuck.
Not Johnny. So you thinking too much. Just go to any of them.
Hey, go to Great Value Steph.
So last night I was washing dishes and my wife asked me, "Baby, what did you change to the registry? People are trying to purchase through the baby registry, but they can't." I did everything correct, sweetie. I did everything you told me. She said, "No, you didn't. It's probably something wrong. Let me see." I said, "Baby, see what?" So let me see your phone. I'll change it. I said, "Baby, I fixed everything. Let me see your phone, James." I fixed everything, baby. Reluctantly, I gave her my phone, but not because I didn't trust her, but because I felt like she was making me feel inadequate, like I didn't do what I was supposed to. Long story short, I did do something wrong. She fixed it, and this morning people were able to adequately purchase through the baby registry. And I say that to say this: men, stop being so stubborn, myself included. Stop acting like your wife is a distraction when she's actually helping you build a dynasty. When treated right, nurtured, led, loved, and took care of properly, a woman is an asset, not a liability. Always remember that. I appreciate my wife for that lesson. On purpose, with purpose, in purpose. If ain't nobody told y'all today, I love y'all. Let's get it. So
what you think, John?
Yeah, man, that's just a lesson just for like in general, men with women, even family members. But if you let women be themselves, if you nourish their femininity, you're always gonna get back, more than you put into it. They're always gonna, give you rewards. So yeah, I agree with that stuff. I take notes. So I'm around a lot of married folks, and I see what works, what doesn't work, and it's gonna be some special lady out there one day. I'm gonna pull out the notebook and bring all that to life.
Damn, I thought that you was always gonna be a fuck nigga your whole life. I thought that's all you would ever be.
Nah,
but you telling me that like one day
taking notes,
you gonna drop a knee for that white.
I'm gonna be listening. She ain't gonna be white, but we'll be taking
Caucasian.
Notes.
My bad.
Nah, we ain't doing that.
What about a Neanderthal?
Hey man, chill, man. They watching, bro. Umar might catch this, bro. I'm reformed.
Oh, you only hot bunnies on Easter. I got you.
That's not when it started, man. I'm supposed to be doing a question, bro.
What was Great Value, Steph? What was his point again? I think that here's the main thing that he went wrong with. Just let her do the registry.
Yeah, I mean, like you gotta know what he's saying.
Like, what are you even doing,
bro? We don't do that.
What are you even doing?
Yeah, I had it.
That man went on Belk.com.
Got it.
Bro, when it comes about anything to do with the phone or
like Taj, like she handled that and handles it amazingly.
Yeah, like it's certain stuff like
she enjoys planning. Also, right now she planning Isla's her first birthday, and she got themes. And she ordering stuff to the house. And like, as a guy, if it was to me, it'd be. I started thinking about it like 4 days before.
We'd have hot dogs, hamburgers, paper plates, It'd be a banner. And happy birthday.
And look in the corner.
He'd be over here turnt. There go the baby. Oh man, we
women they come with themes. They want to color coordinate shit like it be just fire things that they'll do. That like sometimes like I get you, fella. Like I think the message in what he said was good, and I get it and I understand it. But sometimes it's okay to understand. She probably was better doing that anyway.
Should have been picking up a box or something, big dog. But so here's my time. Let me
25 minutes.
25 good ones. But my theme was today was it's a personal question, but I want to broaden it out to society in general. But it's why do we save others before we save ourselves? And it's something I see in a lot of like we even had the conversation a couple weeks ago on Unpack. Every Wednesday, 9:30. We missed it last week. We will be back this week. But we had the conversation about the Messiah complex in people. And it's something I see a lot of day. Like it's something I struggle with sometimes. And I give a lot of myself sometimes in situations where I probably shouldn't and overextend myself. But I see us do this as a society. When I see, my phone dead, but I think it's 10 billion that went to Ukraine, another 2 or 3 that went to Israel. Actually, I got it. If when Tone get back, we can pull it up. But I got the breakdown in the chat. And it's like we send all this money out. That's American good taxpayer dollars that we just send over there. And Helen come and hit us unexpected. You can't even plan.
What you call him?
Helen. That's Hurricane Helen.
Helen.
It's Helen. It's Helen with an E. It's Helen. It's not Helen.
Oh, you been hearing say that?
Helen. That's the name of it. Hurricane Helen. It got an E on it. It got an E. Helen ain't got no E, but whatever you call them, motherfucker.
Have you heard people say Helen or Helene?
Helene. I've heard Helene. I know y'all. I ain't gonna make no inner city joke, but I ain't gonna. I'm gonna leave that alone. But that's an act of God.
Hey, Tone, real quick. The hurricane that just came. What was the name of it?
Helene.
Told you, bro.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
All
bro.
right.
Like Helen ain't got no E on it, bro. Helen ain't got no E on it. But
I tap out.
But and I was just looking at what FEMA sent them people. It was $157 million.
Yeah,
and that's and I'm like, the devastation that's on there. I mean, I've seen videos, and it's like next level. And for us to only have that much money allocated, when over the past year, 2-3 years, we've sent billions to Ukraine, and I see people online.
You wanted them to drop a bill for Asheville,
or they need to give the bag, because it's like, why am I donating my hard-earned money to try to take care of these people when, like, we've sent all the money over there? Like, I understand we got to take care of our people, but where's the government in this situation? And like, why is our money getting allocated the way it is when we clearly got our own problems here? And I mean, a lot of it goes down to, we just talked about corporatocracy and lobbyists and the foreign policies that we have kind of encourage the money getting sent over there and then able to come back.
Shout out to APAC.
And come back over. But it's like, we gotta, like, that's to our detriment. Like, that shit could have happened in Charlotte, or like it could, that hurricane could have happened anywhere and it been us, and then we're out on our ass, and our government's just like, we got $750 for you. After you lose a house, you lose your life savings. And it's like, I don't know. This shit had me hot earlier this week when I was.
Wait, they just get, like, if you lost your house, they just gave you $750.
That's the value. I don't know. That's what I don't know if they're planning on giving them any more than that. But right now, that's what they planning on giving them.
And apparently, you have to apply, and some of the people are like, they're not even getting it. They're being denied.
And like, so, and to me, that's asinine. For that to be that kind of stuff to be happening in America.
So what
we
would
police
you
the whole world?
So what would you like to be happening? Should they
I like for FEMA to have adequate reserves of money to take care of people. Like it's
no,
federal
but
emergency.
so like if your house got knocked down, what would you want them to pay for the price of the house? Or like what you saying?
Well, not even the housing, but it's like even like the infrastructure, and I guess that will be taken care of. But I feel like
like they're gonna rebuild the bridge for sure.
But I just,
all the highways they're gonna rebuild them shits. I can bet my bottom dollar.
It's gonna take a while.
They're gonna do it, but like it's gonna take a while because FEMA doesn't have a lot of funding. They can't just go and like you can repairs. It don't have to take 2 years. The reason it's gonna take 2 years.
Okay, so you're talking about more. You're talking about more infrastructure and not people.
Infrastructure is a problem too. That's what I do. But the people should get more. I don't know if
so. How do you see that happening? So if you did like if your house washed away, how much should the government have to pay for you to for your house?
More than 750. Like I mean,
but what are you saying? I'm asking.
I don't have a specific number.
Like, do you think that they should be paying for your house?
I don't think they should maybe like replace the whole thing. Or like, no, of course not. Like, I mean, that's for insurance, and you're supposed to pay and take.
So, what are we looking for them to do?
More than $150 million. Like,
no.
Compared,
you're moving the goalposts again. Let's peel it back to where you was just at. I imagine you're not talking about like the infrastructure and all these things when you're talking about it, because once the floods go down, people will be able to like typically outside of like the bigger bridges. In the bigger pathways, they'll find a way to make sure that people can kind of like commute XYZ. You're talking about the people that are impacted by the actual hurricane. So the people in Asheville that lost their house, how much should they be getting from the government?
Okay, they maybe not replace the thing, but like if there's food and resources and stuff being sent there, the people shouldn't collect more money to help give those people than the government. Like they're displaced. Like if you lose your house,
niggas got jobs or don't they?
Like I'm saying, it's illegal immigrants that come over here in this country and they put them in a place to stay. And there's some people that lost their house and we $750. They ain't gonna help them.
If I'm correct, we just gave more money to Ukraine this same week that the hurricane
and that's all I'm saying. Like you ain't got to replace the house, but like I know from what I'm hearing is there's no plan for even taking care of these people until stuff can get
all I'm asking is what you're asking for. So are you talking about like making sure that we have money to pay for their shelter for an extended period of time? Is that what you're asking?
And take care of them, and food and stuff, because it's a lot.
But they not like they didn't lose their jobs.
Yeah, a lot of people have lost jobs.
Like some of the jobs.
I guess shut down. I know some people that work there. Their dealership is closed. It's flooded.
I would say
okay. I get that.
There's no place for them to even go work.
I think
so what you're asking for would be housing for people that can prove that they lost their house, and you're asking for supplemental income for people that are out of work due to flood issues.
Yes, and I'm asking for that money to come from the government and to be there when it happens.
Well, I don't think that like we can. I don't think nothing I just said is something that we can do. It will have to come from the government.
Well, what I'm saying, people, the Elevation Church just sent 17 busloads of stuff
but
there because
my issue is that I don't know, like, what the fuck, like, them niggas in Asheville wasn't poor.
Okay, so a lot of
like if you know like that motherfucker look like a Freemason.
I don't know if you've been seeing it, but a lot of the people who've been talking have been talking about they don't have access to their bank accounts. So even with the people who getting the $750, they don't necessarily have access to it. Like they're saying the only way that you can do anything is
you
with
got
cash.
the internet.
They don't have the internet.
The bank shut down, bro, and
Like
the towers are shut down. So they having to get certain places. They using emergency towers at the fire station, like different stuff like that.
Okay.
So that's the only reason they even able to send out anything. For the most part, it's like a wasteland that nobody knows what's going on.
He said they getting. I sold a car to a guy from Asheville. They just came down, but he said they get like. He said he was getting like an hour and a half of cell service a day. And like he sent text messages, it just sit there and it go out when it goes out. But they just got that one tower, I guess, working a left. And it's like I don't know what I was expecting. I don't know what I was expecting the government to do. I don't know what I thought, should have happened. I don't know if there's any way to prevent the tragedy. But like,
if I see you can prevent it, if I see part for the course, if you live out in the mountains and that shit rains,
they usually don't get hit by hurricanes. That's wild.
And they talk
mountains don't.
The hurricanes come from the beach. Like they usually don't make it all the way to the mountain.
Especially on land. And they talk about how much lithium deposits is in North Carolina, but I get in conspiracy land.
Oh, they were saying about Asheville, like one of the biggest, like one of those kind of mines got flooded
lithium,
out.
Yeah. And it's already been bought out. People done already bought the land. Some corporate done already bought the land.
And here's something. Another thing I heard, conspiracy. Just heard this came across the desk yesterday. But they said about like out of 40 something precincts of the 52 in the western side of North Carolina, most of those precincts were voting Republican. And Raleigh and the eastern side of the states, mostly Democratic. And I was hearing some people saying that there was a delay in funding and a delay in trying to fix a lot of the infrastructure thing to kind of keep the polling, people from going to the polls in November.
Mm-hmm. All right, and here, Q-Tone, I think that you had something that will go down this line.
Talking about as far as the cloud seeding.
There you go.
Oh yeah, that was a thing that I heard about, and I'm still looking into this. But this is like they have patents on this at this point. So if you think it's a conspiracy, just look up the patent as far as cloud seeding.
Cloud seeding, when they put
cloud seeding and HARP, that program. They do manipulate the weather, and I think the cloud seeding thing is a thing. I do think this was purposeful, to a degree. Like it did displace a lot of people. It opened up the lithium mines, like as far as the area for lithium. These people can come. This is the same thing that happened in Maui, also, like with the wildfires. How this was just random, and you had people who were showing the shots of laser beams going out or whatever. Like, I do think some things are being set up on purpose to manipulate.
I don't know. See, I don't want to go that far because I think a lot of times, like, you don't want to put on bad intention stuff that could be explained by
and that's why I would rather show. The stuff like that.
But you don't think it was just incompetence? You think it's an actual like bad like intentions?
What you talking about? Was the hurricane an incompetence?
Oh, you talking about cloud seeding? You say they tried to do they did that intentionally?
Oh yeah, no, I think that's purposeful, bro. I don't think they try to make it rain a whole lot anywhere without a purpose. I think this was purposeful.
But you think so? The hurricane was caused by cloud seeding?
I think some of the damage was caused by cloud seeding. I'm not sure if the hurricane was caused by cloud seeding, but I think that's possible too. I didn't really want to go deep into this because I didn't send enough stuff in to really go review it. I'd rather go over it when I actually have some evidence of what I'm saying.
Yeah, I'd love to see it. I'd love to see the evidence. I can't, I'm not gonna go down that road because I couldn't. It's hard for me to imagine that without seeing it.
Yeah, I'd rather show some of the stuff. I didn't send in enough videos this week, so I'll look over this week and send in some videos.
So for this comment, we'll just like assume incompetence, and even that's bad enough. Like, I mean, if we were just sitting around and FEMA just wasn't doing stuff and they weren't prepared for an emergency.
But what? Okay, so when you just chalk it to incompetence, what business did they have controlling the weather anyway?
I don't know. What is there a business that controls the weather?
That's what I'm saying. Them doing cloud seeding. What business did they have doing that anyway? What was the point?
And now, from my limited knowledge on cloud seeding that I've done in the past, they've done that for agriculture, and they've done it in places where there were droughts to help support agriculture and growth of livestock and stuff. I've never seen them do it to create, or I've never heard. And I'm not saying they haven't, but for me, my understanding of it was done for livestock and to help drought-stricken areas. Now, I'm not saying they couldn't use it for bad, but I've never seen anything to suggest that.
Yeah. Just for right now, just for this week, because I need to do some more research. But if anybody is like doubting what I'm saying, just look up the patents, look up HARP, look up cloud seeding, look up the patents for this stuff. They do manipulate the weather. It's not a conspiracy theory. So it's not far-fetched to be discussing this, but I would like to see.
Well, yeah, I know they can do it. I've heard of it.
Oh, I know you know. I'm just giving warning to the audience so they don't just think we just talking crazy here. Like, because I don't want nobody to think we talking crazy. Like, you can go look this stuff up. If you don't look it up, then don't sit there and just be like they just talking conspiracy. This is actually a real thing that's going on. So I do wonder what they use these things that they done made patents on. Like, and if all the so-called natural disasters that we see are all natural.
And I'm gonna say this. I'll say this because it's scary times. Asheville, like you said, it's not a poor community,
and
I feel like whether intentional incompetence, they was kind of left out to dry. It's like a sacrifice, almost like how they did Katrina. And those were black people, and now this shit happening 20 years later, 19 years later, it's happening to.
Well, they ain't those ain't black people.
But I'm saying, but if they'll do it to white people, they ain't gonna. Like if they're gonna do it in Asheville, why wouldn't they do it?
Those the
in
those the middle class and
but I'm saying
rich
the
whites.
middle class get this kind of treatment. Imagine what the poor people go.
You guys show me Biltmore first.
Man, I tell you
I
what.
heard-
Omni Grove, Biltmore and Omni Grove. When I went to Omni Grove,
the
who that-
Omni got fucked up. I don't know about
Omni
Biltmore.
Grove.
Yeah, it got fucked
Bro, I
up.
don't
That
even-
motherfucker looked like I done been there. That motherfucker
We won't
looked
ever
like
even be able to go to the
free
mountains no time soon.
Mason.
You can't get to Tennessee.
Ritual.
You can't get to the mountains.
You can't get to Tennessee right now. You have to go to. You got to go to it like down through Georgia.
Georgia.
Yeah,
You gotta go
to
through
a whole
Atlanta.
nother way, which is crazy. Like I'm like they shut all of that. That's
We
all
could do
shut
it
down. I ain't gonna say they, but
Yeah, we could, but
February.
But see, I was thinking though, we got to go to Atlanta.
We'll do it. We'll do it.
We might as well just stay in Atlanta.
that's kind of.
We got to go to Atlanta.
But
to
nah,
go
the
to
mountains was a special place for
Hey,
me. I'm
chat.
like,
Do y'all want to see Cabin Fever, Atlanta?
Who?
Or
Cabin
do y'all
Fever?
want to see Cabin Fever, Gatlinburg too? I
Boy,
don't know.
Gatlinburg was. I love Gatlinburg.
We was in Pigeon
bro.
Forge.
Pigeon
Oh
Forge.
yeah, Pigeon
Gatlinburg,
Forge.
I like
It's all
all
the
those.
same.
Yeah, I like it all. Like I just like being in the mountains, and we can't even get there now.
No, we can't.
I think by February we'll be able to get there.
We'll see. They was talking about like the one of the major highways took 15 years to build. So I'm like, they're gonna have to. It's like 2 lanes gone off the whole highway.
Tone, you know that road, the shit we took.
Yeah,
to
we
get
was
there,
on.
the
It's,
shit
it's
is
gone,
bro.
It's like 2. Yeah, I seen it. I said, I know we drove past this. It's 2 whole lanes gone, bro. Like it's just water there. Like
That shit crazy, bro. That shit. I saw it too. I was like, yeah, me and Tone was right there.
yeah, I remember that joke, bro. I was like, yeah, I remember this scary turn, and I wouldn't drive up that bitch. Now.
I remember I didn't look. I was just.
And then they still got the rolling rocks coming down the mountain. So and you still got.
Oh yeah, that's where like in a hurricane, I wouldn't be fucking with driving on
rolling rocks now.
Well, not in the mountains, because like the beach don't have landslides like that, but the mountains should start.
Yeah, they
was shit that looked crazy.
Well, I seen one, bro. It was this truck. He was coming. He had like a camera in the. I don't know how he got the rear view footage, but he just got past, and a landslide came. And you know those concrete barriers they got, bro. I seen that motherfucker slide so fast across the interstate, like it looked like it was a toy.
Yeah.
And I was like,
man,
like that. I was like, damn, like bro, barely like he would have died.
Yeah,
like, he'd have been dead
if he had just hit the brake a little bit.
And it was some cars that got hit. Like it's just crazy up there. But
yeah,
I'm done.
All right, so let's circle back into your question. And your question was,
why do we save others instead of saving ourselves?
Okay, all right, and this is, I guess, where the interesting part of the conversation to me gets. Why do we save others instead of saving ourselves? And to me, I think that this is where we then get into, like, for sure, like all empathy to the victims of Hurricane Helene. That's what we're calling it.
Helene, that's it.
They said Helen all week, but
Helene.
Shout out to
got an E at the end, so if you want to say it like that, then hey, who can hate on it?
Helene.
Helene.
I eat my mayonnaise with Helene. But yeah, Helene and the destruction that she has did through Georgia, Tennessee, North Carolina,
South Carolina too.
And South Carolina. Is that a state still?
Man,
oh, my bad. I'm joking.
Hey man,
my bad. I'm joking. But no, so saying all that to say, when it comes down to a lot of like the social media fodder and different things like that, when you pose the question, what I took it as is that, damn, we as a group, as a community, are into somewhat dire straits to an extent where is our money best allocated to giving inside a unselfish way or inside a very intentional selfish way. And it also took me down the line of thinking about all the scammers that are getting bread off of the Hurricane Helene situation. Like I done seen some people on my Facebook.
I done seen some GoFundMes.
That
I done seen some GoFundMes.
Hey, I'm starting this GoFundMe.
Man, hey, bro, that money going to Asheville or that shit going to your pocket?
I done seen somebody put under their post, Is this going to Asheville or going to your fund, your technology, food, and entertainment fund? And I thought that was funny, but I also think that that's a real thing as well, especially how rampant the idea of donations and all that shit is right now. And I say all that to say, yeah, I think that right now, I know I'm personally, shout out to them, I put that on the hands of the government. I'm unfortunately, I'm not giving donations to Hurricane Helene. I do wish well to anybody that has been impacted and all those other things, but I do think that my current circumstances make it to where what is immediate in my house, what is immediate in my community, what is immediate for my people does take precedence. Yeah.
No, I get that. And like, I feel that. So why are we sending money up there instead of, and
who are you talking about?
I'm saying there's people in Charlotte that are sending money up there, but you're saying we shouldn't be doing that.
I'm telling you what I do.
So you're not saying I'm not sending no money either. But
and why you not doing it?
Because I feel like that's the government's job. I feel like that shit, it's hard as hell down here. And like I feel like I've had an issue with them sending the money to Ukraine. So I feel like that's something the government needs to handle. I feel like the fact that our government goes out there and meddles in the policies and foreign policies around the world and then don't have enough to come and properly take care of Americans. I think that speaks to some of the deficiencies that we have in the government, some of the maybe bad actors that we have in our own government. And I think that's what it comes down to, is we trying to save everybody else because it's profitable and might not be as much money in trying to save Americans and helping us out here stateside. So
yeah, I do think it should be a government thing. And the first thing that I do think they should have been doing was going out there with helicopters and stuff to get these people out of there. Like the people who want to leave. I think that's where the efforts and the money should be going towards, specifically. Get them out of there and help them to restructure their lives, because they're not going to be able to live the same way. It's not going to be built back.
Send them up to some of them sanctuary cities,
or even if you're putting out like getting towers out there, helping them to get cell service.
Well, they are
there's a lot of stuff.
I think I don't know if it's Starlink, but they had like AT&T was trying to get they like mobile, but I think a lot of those people are just having trouble like accessing the area.
Yeah. I don't know if we got time to call in. We got like 4 minutes.
Oh, okay. Well, nonetheless, we'll see what happens if we got one. But yeah, my bad, Johnny. Keep going.
Oh no, that's it. I just had to get on my little, I was angry.
Your little soapbox.
Yeah, I was a little angry earlier.
So do you think that we should donate to Hurricane Helene?
I mean, if you're not in a position, nah. Like, I mean, shit, it's tough.
All right. So I'm gonna drop it into FBA. Do you think it is important for FBA to donate to Hurricane Helene? Is it on code, off code?
I mean, I think you'd have to look at the demographics to make that determination. Demographics of the area and the people affected. I'm sure there's black people affected by this too.
I give it to the
like
people
like one,
I was kind of joking about this yesterday with this girl in the store, but she kind of set me straight, and she was right.
Shit!
Like I was
trolling women.
Yeah, nah. It was the girl was just working in the store, and they had the thing. They had the thing at the front of the store. It was Dollar General, and they had the thing at the front of the store where you can buy stuff to donate to the people for Hurricane Helene. So I was joking with my girl. I was like, "Who you think that's really going to?" And then the girl who was working the counter, she was like, "It's going to Hurricane Helene." And she was explaining like the stuff that they had already sent to donate, and even like how somebody had came in the store, had brought a whole bunch of stuff, and they had I don't know if they chartered a bus or they had a van, but they was heading that way to go help people. So I'm like, I can't take that away from people. Like, I do think it's beautiful that we step up in America, even amongst all the negative stuff, that when something happens, that Americans are willing to step up and help their neighbor. I do think that's a thing that we should highlight. So shout out to the people who are helping. I'm not going out there. I do think the government should be doing this, but I don't want to take away credit from the people who do decide to help every time that there's something that happens. There are people who are just like, they have the heart for that. And I really do appreciate those people in the world.
And I don't think it's fair that they have to.
Yeah.
I don't think they,
I would agree, but I'm still appreciative. I don't want to take it away from them because that's still something they chose to do at their heart. And I'm appreciative of people like that. Like,
no, that's facts.
Yeah, we running out of time.
Yeah, so yeah, shout out to Western North Carolina. Shout out to everybody affected by the storm. Shout out to anybody that's putting your time and effort to help those people. It's much appreciated by them, and we appreciate you doing your part in your community. It's a great show. Tap into the comments below.
Tell them what you said about the hoes earlier.
Fascinated. Fascinated to this day. But follow us on all social media at the To Be Fair Show. It's Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and Threads. Subscribe, hit the notification buttons, get all our upcoming content. I am your host, Johnny P.
Oh, hell yeah. It's Q.
And we out.